We love
All right, we'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that taught us this truth, that rule well in the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, and the elect brothers throughout the four corners of the earth, teaching the word in sincerity and truth. Now, give me Habakkuk 2, 2 and 1. Give me Jeremiah 51 and 7. So one of the hot prophecies to spin around right now is Russia, you know, and the Ukraine. So one part of being in this truth, you got to be into geopolitics. You know, you don't got to be real, like, knee deep into geopolitics, but you got to understand it enough to let you know how the Lord's chessboard is playing out. You know, and Lord, will I bring the map out, because we got an actual map of the Middle East, the world map, to show kind of like what's going on the Lord's chessboard. So, but one of the largest, a major prophecy now that's rolling is Russia with the Ukraine situation. But it's other situations that tie onto that, even though it's just saying Russia and the Ukraine in the media, but it's other things attached to that under the surface. So you got Habakkuk 2 and 1?
Habakkuk 2 and 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say to me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
Yeah, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, dealing with what? Gog, Magog, Meshach and Tubal, Togarmah, Turkey, these different countries, and also with NATO. Give me Exodus 15 and 3, Baba Kasha. Because the Lord is a man of war. And you know, and throughout history, the Lord, nations always what? Took down nations. You could give me the Lord take down one kingdom and set up another. I think it's Sirach 10, if I'm not mistaken. Finish that, read on.
But at the end, it shall speak and not lie.
Yeah, and now the prophecies is what actually speaking and not lying. And guess what? For years and years, starting with the apostles on down, brothers been like warning and telling you people, you know, about what? Russia, Gog and Magog, the nuclear signs, that had the USSR missile on it, and what? You people thought it was a joke. You know, we told you about the chip and all of that. So now what? The prophecy speaking, and now people one thing you're going to pop in your mind is that what? Oh, the Israelites were saying this, the mark of the beast and all that, and now what? You're going to be trying to look for us and find us. But you're not going to be able to find us. Even if you find out where one spot we at, it might not necessarily be there the following week. Like the last Elizabeth camping out in Jersey, a guy carried him out like, when y'all coming back? I wanted to say next week, but no telling where we be the following week and how you can like really keep track control of us. So and that's the Lord what? Taking his word from the earth. So you got the famine of the word coming, because now we got to what? We got to speak in riddles, right? Now, like, and Yahweh Shai spoke in riddles to the people, but to the disciples, he just told them straight up what it was. But to the people, he spoke in riddles. So now you gotta what? You gotta speak it. You gotta speak in riddles, you know, because or you gotta worry about your channel getting flagged or a strike or something coming up. So you gotta speak in code. You gotta say E when you talk about Esau. You gotta say 1948ers when you talk about Amalek, the so-called Jews, and so on. You know, you can't use certain words as far as homosexuality and this and that. So everything is code worded. So, and we're not gonna really, it's too much to break down all of these code words. You would have to already be biblically in tune in order to understand what we're saying. So what, that's the famine of the word coming, hitting the earth, and multiple prophecies being lined up, because when the Lord bring this third world's war in, and I mean, when the Lord bring the kingdom in, everything going to be like a domino effect. It's not going to be like, all right, this major prophecy happened, now we waiting for the next one. It's going to be multiple things happening and going on at once, and Yahweh Shah is just going to come in and usher in the kingdom.
Sorry? That's it right there.
Okay. Here you go. Yeah.
Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
That's it. 3 minutes away.
Okay. This is the book of Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable.
Well, ultimately it's who? Yahweh Shah. You know, under the law, statutes, and commandments, because that's the proper way to live. You know, people, oh, this is the right way to live. No, the law, statutes, and commandments is the proper way to live. It's one and one with nature. And when you get the word nature, that's where you get the word natural. You know, and you don't fuck with nature. You just let nature be. When you start to tamper with nature, you throw shit out of whack, and you spin things off. You know, you just let nature just take its course.
There's one more. Verse 5.
It's one, he set up one king and removed another.
Another thing that might be Daniel. Yeah.
Oh, 17.
Cool. This is the book of Daniel. Let me see. Chapter 4, verse 17. It says, "This matters by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men."
Right, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. So he set who he won up in power. Case in point, like Putin. When he came in 99, they was like, who the fuck is this guy? Nobody really like know nothing. He came in kind of like a Obama. You know, they like, well, we know he was a KGB agent, which is basically like the CIA form of in Russia. So, but nobody really knew like how to take him or like who he was or what type spirit he was coming in. But the actual spirit he was coming in that old Soviet type spirit, setting up the taking back territory, setting up the whole USSR, establishing Russia dominance in the East or in the planet, period, and putting that fear of Russia back in the earth, you know, and stopping the bully from the West and NATO. But people ain't really know how to take him, so he set up one king and he removed another, because before him, you had Boris Yeltsin. Then you had Mikhail Gorbachev, the dude with the shit stain on his. This is a birthmark. You can never forget that dude because he got that shit stain on his head and shit. You know, all the Edomites going into slavery. But it's good to know geopolitics to a degree. And certain prophecies remind you to get back into that, you know, because we got the Hebrew, the Passover coming. There's different areas of the truth to dwell in. But the last week or two, I've just been brushing up on, you know, Kiev, the history, the geopolitics, because you don't want to be lazy and be like, yeah, the Lord gonna rise Russia up, they're gonna bomb the U.S., that's it. But how is it playing out? You should be interested in how is this playing out and what's the scenario the Lord got set up, which is all through the left-hand side of the bankers. It was a documentary through Jordan Maxwell. It was a good documentary. It's called All Wars Are Banking Wars. You know what I mean? Showing how it's all financed through the elites and it's all games that's being played, but ultimately it's the Lord doing it. But the Lord gonna have it spin out of control, and they gonna find out that it's actually the Lord doing it, and it was never in their control as they thought. But he said he set up one king and removing for another.
Daniel 4:17, continuing, it says, "To the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will."
Yeah, and he giveth it to whomsoever he will. Because Russia, when you check out Russia out, give me Ezekiel 38, when he will pull it back.
Okay. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38. just hit the point or start at the
You
top?
can start at the top.
God. Verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog.
Right, those are Japhetic nations because they ruled those areas. But where Gog and Magog sit, that's where Russia takes up that area today, Meshach and Tubal. Even today in Russia, you got the what? The Tobol River, Tobol, actually in Russia. So leaving those key names around so the Lord can link prophecy and throw a bone in the scriptures. You know, like you got Persia. Well, it's called Iran, but you got what? The Persian Gulf, you know?
Right.
But you'd be like, damn, this the Persian Gulf. Where the fuck is Persia? If
Right.
this the Gulf of Persia, then you'd be like, oh, okay, this the Iranians before 1935. It was called Persia. But after 1935, it was switched to Iran. You know, so the Lord used these key terms over and over again, you know. But
Euphrates.
the Euphrates, the Tigris, you know, and these different rivers, he leave their key names around or certain land codes in the around where you could identify what he's talking about.
That's right.
Because you got assholes and dickheads. Oh, I don't mean that. You know, because they're not spiritually inclined with the Lord, but the Lord still leave a bone where you can, like, literally attach it. But they don't have the attention span to, like, really sit there and listen to the breakdown because they just in denial of America being destroyed and prophecy being fulfilled.
God. So the book of Ezekiel chapter 38, continuing in verse 2, it says, Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal.
Right, and you got the Tobol River, Tobol, actually in Russia, you know, to this day. Who got a Zondervan? Y'all got the Zondervan? In the Zondervan, look up Magog. Like, look up Tobol River, Tobol, Magog. It's going to clearly tell you it's Russian. So when you do like a little brief research, it tell you that it's talking about Russia. And that's a known thing. You know, you even got, which I think here, Jake, the brother, just dropped a video with Double 7, bringing out different things. And I always felt as though he was hitting on prophecy anyway, but just wouldn't say it. Yeah. But now the Lord like forcing it out of him because he's like that dude kind of like, but prophecy now they are, you know, due to him hitting and touching on various things.
You want the Tubal or the Magog?
You can bring the Tobol, bro.
God. So here it says Tubal. It says the Tobol is a river in western Siberia, in Kazakhstan and Russia.
So there you go. So the Lord leave these key. I think that river like damn near like from New York to Chicago. Ain't no small river. It's type big.
Yeah, it's 164,000 square miles.
Yeah. So that shit is like they say it'll stretch like from New York to Chicago. Right. You know what I mean? Which is like because Russia's big as hell. You know what I'm saying? So that and see if it was a smaller river, you probably wouldn't have like heard of it. But the Lord left like a large known river with that old ancient name, you know. But even though Tubal was Tubal, this Tobal Tobal, you know, slight difference. But if you're a spiritual man, you can see the comparison. You got that, Magog?
This is in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. It says Magog. It says son of Japhet, land of Gog, various identifications, Scythians, Lydians, Tartars of Russia.
So there you go. And so when you deal with the scholars and you do a slight shit, so you got to know the proper sources to go to, you could see these, with research, you could see that it's talking about what? The Russians, you know? So,
back in Ezekiel
38, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it even gives Revelation 20 verses 7 to 9.
Oh shit,
Yep.
damn.
Yep.
I ain't look at it in a minute, but I knew that was, it said Russia, but I didn't know it gave an actual precept.
That's great. So they know.
Yeah.
So continuing in Ezekiel 38, verse 2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog,
Uh-huh.
the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal.
Because even though the Lord is dealing with Russia and going to set them up to wage war against the West, they going to be destroyed too. Because there's only one winner of World War III, and that's Yahushua. And them Russians and shit is going in fucking in captivity too. All you. You know what I'm saying? But in their mind, they got next up to win, and they so beat at attacking Babylon. But you know, all y'all gonna be destroyed ultimately by the Lord, and you getting dragged into captivity. You know? And the Israelites is up next to rule, is up next to win. You know?
Good. Verse 3, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws.
Yeah, so now that's the whole history. I had one probably about 2 weeks ago, but this the spirit, you know, bring it back out with a little bit more information. So he said I would turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, meaning return them back into the old ways of what? The USSR. Now that's a whole history because what? You had in 91, you had the USSR, it had fell in 91. You had Gorbachev, and then you had Boris Yeltsin. Now when Yeltsin got up in there, find out how long Yeltsin ruled, Boris Yeltsin. I think it was 2 terms if I'm not mistaken. His administration. But when Yeltsin got up in there, he fucked Russia up. Them oligarchs came in there. They was the Jewish Russian oligarchs, man. They came up in there extorting shit, ripping off the country. They was pushing fucking democracy and all of that. So Russia was starting to look like fucking Babylon the Great under Boris Yeltsin reign, man.
Yeah. about 2 terms.
It was 8 years, right. So, but before him, you had Mikhail Gorbachev. So, but at the end of Gorbachev's reign, you know, Yeltsin reigned from what? Because after the USSR collapsed in 91, you had Yeltsin come up in there, and when he came up in there, he was like he was Russian, but he was like a westernized puppet. He didn't have like that USSR spirit, and he was like democracy. He was down there pushing democracy, and it was a lot of Western influence onto Russia, because what, them different republics, it was 15 different republics that made up the USSR. You know, and when them 15 republics broken down, now NATO like, okay, they are separate and independent, but they were still cool. You know what I'm saying? That's like us, like, yo, you know, DTA, MOV, but, you know, brothers break off. Brothers like, yo, we doing our own thing, but we still one big family. But you over there, we sovereign. It's no like, this camp head and this, you the head of your own little division, but we still family. We still like the South Carolina brothers. You know what I'm saying? Different brothers are part of the church. They got like head brothers down there that's over them, but it's still like one big family, but they way down there. And that's how them different republics of the USSR are broken up. So now NATO, you know, was looking in the West, Babylon was looking at Russia like, okay, all those republics broken down, now how do we deal with this entity called Russia? Because inside of the USSR, Russia was actually the strongest entity, what I should say, republic inside the USSR. They was the strongest republic, and next to it was the Ukraine. They was the second strongest. And inside, during the Cold War, the Ukraine was die hard against Babylon, because the Ukraine and Russia is like brothers. They came out of like the same womb. When we pull up the history right quick, but that's when the bear It says, I will turn thee back, meaning if you gotta go back, meaning you went astray. If I like come back, that means obviously somebody went astray if they have to come back to their original point. Meaning, so when the USSR fell in 91, after Gorbachev came in, Boris Yeltsin came in. And when Yeltsin came in, he fucked Russia up. He fucked Russia up. But one thing, Yeltsin, he was still kind of Soviet communist a little bit, but he was cooled out. And y'all brothers could look up the, I'm just giving y'all a quick summary, but y'all could look up his rule and the shit he was doing yourself. Because I don't want to just be here talking all day, pulling out hella articles, because we be here for like 6 hours, you know. But I'm just hitting little summaries to lead y'all to like what's going on now. So, once Yeltsin came in, he basically fucked Russia up. But he said this on his exit. He was like, yo, all right, Russia is cool. The bear went to sleep. You know what woke the bear up? It was ultimately the Lord, but this what happened that woke the bear up. In 1996, NATO, matter of fact, and this show you the greed of you. Esau's the fucking devil, man. We know that. But you westernized devils, man, you the super fucking devil, man. You Babylonian, you ultimately the elites. But you westernized American devils, man, you really don't play fair. Cause NATO was the creation of NATO. Because NATO was created in 57, I believe, or 47. I think 47, and they whole purpose was to combat the 15 republics. Because the USSR was big as fuck. You know, Russia itself is big as hell. The Ukraine is big too. You know, but they like, yo, so you know, the America like, damn, these motherfuckers over here got a big ass empire. So what they did was they set up NATO in, I believe, 47.
I have a little synopsis here, then I'm gonna get more. It says the North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and several Western European nations. It says to provide collective security against the Soviet Union.
Right, so that was their whole purpose. To be like, yo, Russia, like, they got a whole squad. They rolling with different nations, and you know what I'm saying? So they like, all right, we gonna, you know, get a squad going too, like to combat them, you know? So now when the USSR broken down, you would think they'd be like, well, all right, since they broken down, they not really too much of a threat. We gonna break down NATO. All right, you know, y'all could go back doing y'all own thing, but we still cool though. If these motherfuckers trip, we come back together as a team, but if they ain't tripping, we ain't tripping. Y'all do y'all thing, this and that. They got republics, y'all go back to y'all countries. No, they didn't do that. What they did was, under the Clinton administration, under the Clinton administration, during his second term, everything was cool. Under his second term in 96, NATO, this was the event, if you would ask me, because geopolitics is, that shit can be talked about all fucking day, especially amongst these Edomites and these bars and shit.
Hell yeah.
You know, but see, I love ripping them because they don't know prophecy. So they be hitting little pointers, but I'm like, no, it ain't gonna go that. Because prophecy trumps everything.
Yeah, good.
So they don't know what the fuck they talking about.
Good.
But they know like little events that was actual history. You like, yeah, he did do that. They did release the tapes, yeah. You know? But them Edomites be into that shit.
Yeah.
Really, they into it because they trying to hold on to their world. You know, we into it because we holding on to our world, which is the kingdom. And they don't want shit to go sour, so they watch it, because this they rule. You know? We watching it for the Lord to air this shit out to see how bad things getting, so brothers could trim up their lamps some more. You know? So, 96. This what these motherfuckers did. NATO. They took 3 more countries. NATO promised Yeltsin before he left office they would not expand NATO. And before that, right, and I want to bring this point out. In 94, the Ukraine is so popular. I'm gonna hold that off because we'll talk about the Ukraine, even though that's some years back. But in '94, but in '96, right? '96, NATO take 3 more countries. They kept pushing onto Russia's territory. You greedy fucking bastards. The bear was asleep. You should have let the mouth. Now, look, we know the Lord would have woke him up anyway, because it's prophecy. But this how it happened, from fucking greed. So you like, yo, this motherfucker sleep. Take some more of his Cheerios. Like the bear, like, yo, go over there, get some more of that nigga fish. That nigga don't know we over here. Like, yo, Russia was chilling. They was cool. They was just like they little republics. The West was doing all kinds of shit. You know? Starting all kinds of wars. Vietnam, fucking Desert Storm, and invading shit. Blazing shit. You know? So, when they took 3 more countries, Yeltsin did say, he was like, yo, don't worry, you promised that NATO would not expand. You promised. He was like, Russia will be back. Russia will come back. And that was kind of his last words, that he was like, Russia will come back in his old original state. Because, look, get that. It was 3 countries that the NATO took from so-called like Russia, them Soviet states. It was Hungary, Poland, and it was a 3rd one. He about to get it. Like I said to Gio, it's not something you hit every day like the scriptures. So like the history could kind of be like vague, but I've been looking at it all last 2 weeks. But it was 3.
And they joined NATO?
Yeah, it was Poland, Hungary, and it was a 3rd one in '96. 3 countries joined NATO. What's up? Let
me see.
It should be up there.
It said Hungary, Poland, when was this? 96? 99. I'm gonna just list off the names I see here, and then whichever one it is, you let me know. So on here it says we got okay, so we got Albania, Belgium, Bulgaria.
I think it was Bulgaria. It was 3 countries. If I'm mistaken, Slovakia, but it was definitely Hungary, Poland, because that was all going towards part of what? The USSR. So now Yeltsin wakes. Now, who comes in after Boris Yeltsin leave? Putin, because Yeltsin had an 8-year reign from 91 plus 8 is 99. So Putin came in 99. So when he came in, he took one thing he did was took Crimea back, you know, because from the all right, now let's talk about the Ukraine, right? I know I'm going on and on with the history, but the scriptures got a hold right quick. But let's go on with the Ukraine, right? The Ukraine and Russia come from the same seed, from like the same, you know, like BTA and Minivala. They come out of GMS, right? They come from the same place, which is Kiev. That's why Russia like, yo, y'all not about to, hell no. See, yo, Nate, oh man, these fucking devils, man. You westernized devils. That's why Putin like, man, we just gotta fuck, you know, but the Lord putting the spirit on them like, man, we just gotta fuck you people up, man. You know, yo, Kiev, look up Vladimir the Great. In I think he ruled from like the late 9th century to the beginning of the 10th century. And basically Kiev Rus RUS was a state where Russia and the Ukraine came out of. They was like brothers, you know. One came, but like I said, like an example of DTA and MOV came out of GMS. Two separate camps, but like brothers, but came off of the apostles of what? Of Great Millstone. So that's how Ukraine and Russia was. But Russia always was like the bigger brother over the Ukraine. Ukraine was like the second strongest republic as far as those 15 republics of the USSR. Ukraine was the second biggest agriculture and everything republic next to Russia. And matter of fact, when the Ukraine was going during the Cold War, Ukraine was going hard against Babylon, man. Was going hard against Babylon, even to the point that a lot of agriculture and a lot of Russia's missiles was in the Ukraine. That's why when the republics collapsed after 91 and 94, 3 years later, you guys?
Yeah, I was able to find Vladimir the Great.
The Great, that's why I want to jump the gun. Hit Vladimir the Great.
Gun. So it says here, on Vladimir the Great, it says he was the prince of Novgorod, the Grand Prince of Kiev, the ruler of Kievan Rus, from 980 to 1015. Let's see.
The Slavic people, right? So, and hey, it was hella Jakes up in there during that time too. Like you had all the way up to the 1800s, you had Ivan the Terrible, you know, and these different Jakes ruling all up in there in Russia. But you had the Ukraine and Russia come out of Kiev Rus, you know, which is that's why like Russia, like yo, that's our home base type shit. Like even though, and that's why this how tight Russia was with the Ukraine. And 1952 Crimea, just for as a brotherly gift, Russia gave Crimea to the Ukraine just for like. That's why when the Ukraine started to come up under Western rule, Putin came back in and took that shit off rip, because that's like they holy land, so to say, and also Kiev. That's why when Russia burned down, they went straight for that capital. They bombed certain shit to control of that capital, because that's where a lot of history from Vladimir the Great and Kiev Rus, because that was the name of the country at the time, and that space where both branches came out of, but Russia was always kind of like the bigger brother.
So it says here, Vladimir's father was Prince Vyacheslav I of Kiev of the Rurik dynasty. After the death of his father in 972, Vladimir, who was then Prince of Novgorod, was forced to flee to Scandinavia in 976 after his brother Yaropolk murdered his older brother Oleg of Dralinia.
Sound like some Daniel's 11 shit. That ain't nothing new under the sun.
God. Yeah, I forgot what you were saying earlier, but it reminded me of, you said when Putin came in, he came in, he started to take the lands back to basically restore the old land they had.
And Yeltsin said that, because NATO started in 96, they kept pushing that everything was chill, but in 96, the end of Clinton reign, the second end of half of his reign, they took 3 more countries and added it to NATO, and that's what kind of woke the beer up.
So that reminded me of, in Daniel 11, when Antiochus the Great, when he came up into power, because the Ptolemies kept taking more and more and more. So then Antiochus came up and said, nah, fuck this shit. I'm gonna take back that old Joyce. That's reminding me of that. He started coming and taking the shit back.
Yeah.
Same Edomites.
Yeah, hey, nothing new under the sun. Them they might be, through the spirit, you never know how the Lord set it up. Because they are brothers.
Yeah.
They are a bunch of Russian, American, Babylon, them Eastern European countries. They all Edomites.
Yeah, Ptolemies in Egypt.
Yeah.
Egypt. Land in the north. The Seleucids were north.
Good. Hey, possibly you gotta have a spiritual eye with this thing, you know.
So it says here, so it says the older brother Oleg of Drilinia and conquered Rus in Sweden with the help of his relative. Damn, this name is Ladijarl Hakon Sigurdsson, ruler of Norway. He assembled a Varangian army and reconquered Novgorod from Yaropolk. It says by 980, Vladimir had consolidated the Rus realm from modern-day Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine to the Baltic Sea, and had solidified the frontiers against incursions of Bulgarians, Baltic tribes, and Eastern nomads.
So boom, beautiful, showing you what that Russia and he set up. They two came up together. So this why Putin's so mad. So in '96 that happened, right? So now you had another major event. Let me touch more on the Ukraine. Look up '94. The Ukraine returned missiles to Russia. This how much Russia fucked with the Ukraine. They was homies from day one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of agriculture, a lot of they was just tight, and a lot of Russia's missiles, ICBMs, they had that shit in the Ukraine. You know, to even the point when the USS broken down in '91, Russia got the Ukraine gave Russia his nukes back. Like, there you go. But Russia was like, yo, we promise to protect you if need be, and promise to leave you alone and let you remain a sovereign country. We promise not to interfere with things y'all got. But we still brothers though. But yo, I need them fucking ICBMs back though, because we are separate republics now, and y'all motherfuckers like yo, come up off of that shit. But they gave it back. But look, this how cool they was. It took them 3 years because it broke down in '91, and '94 they actually gave it back.
It says here, at the time of Ukraine's independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine held the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world, including an estimated 1,900 strategic warheads, 176 intercontinental ballistic missiles, and 44 strategic bombers. By 1996, Ukraine had returned all of its nuclear warheads to Russia in exchange for economic aid and security assurances.
Right, that was the deal. He was like, it wasn't really a deal because they cool. It's like, yo, we still brothers. Like, yo, somebody fuck with you. You know, our history, Kiev, you know, back to the OGs and shit. We come out of the same lineage. Like, we gonna hold you down regardless. But I need the nukes back though. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and y'all sovereign, do your thing, we ain't gonna fuck with you. But if you need our help, we over here though. It wasn't a deal, but but the shit belonged to Russia anyway. They was always the bigger bro out of both brothers, you know?
Good. It says here,
kind of like Jehoshaphat and King Ahab, when he told him yeah, I'll go with you to war.
Right.
We do, we the same. Even though it was a northern kingdom and southern kingdom, you know, when Ahab went to war and had died and shit, you know. So it was kind of like you know, for brothers that know biblical history, kind of similar to that, Russia and the Ukraine.
Good. So it says here, Ukraine had returned all of its nuclear warheads to Russia in exchange for economic aid and security assurances. And in December 1994, Ukraine became a non-nuclear weapon state party to the 1968 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty.
And that's really the Lord that disarmed them like that, because now that they beefing, and what if they say they still had nukes? You know what I'm saying? They be like, yo, the West would have loved that. Yeah, I hope Ukraine bomb Russia, so we ain't gotta never worry about these motherfuckers. Let brother kill brother. Right. We could just sit back and watch this shit go down. But that was the Lord that had Russia take their nukes back. Because it's asymmetrical. That shit ain't no fucking line up with them Ukrainians and the Russian army. That shit is no comparison. That's a straight asymmetrical battle. You know, that's what you call a mismatch. You know, how you got basketball, this person sticking in. He's like, yo, man, switch up, man.
Right,
You gonna
right.
just keep scoring on him. That's a mismatch. You gotta put somebody on him that's his skill level. You know?
I think that was it on this point.
That okay, so they gave it back. Give me 1952, Russia gives Crimea to the Ukraine. Just as a like, you know how kings like, yo, you can take my daughter, some Ptolemy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you take my daughter, yo, you can have this land, this and that. We brothers, just take it. You know what I'm saying? It's both of our history. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with Kiev. It's like both of our history. Read on.
So it says here, the 1954 transfer of Crimea. It says the transfer of Crimean Oblast in 1954 was an administrative action of the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union, which transferred the government of the Crimean Peninsula from the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic to the Ukrainian SSR.
Right. So, but why would you do that? Because we just cool like that. Y'all my brother, huh? Like, take this, because that's how they got down. So now, going further in history, right, 2013 was a major point where Russia lost a puppet in office of the Ukraine. Get that dude name. I think it was 13 or 14. Ukrainian election. The two, it was a goddamn, what's this dude name?
He was the previous Ukrainian president?
Yeah, but he was like more Soviet, but he lost the presidency to the westernized dude, the comedian dude. He looked like a damn faggot, you know? I don't know, Putin was watching this shit, because you know Ukraine is like their history. So he like, that's kind of like when NATO got up in there. And remember Russia, that whole thing in 14, when Russia was banging out with the Ukraine, but it like calmed down. It calmed down.
So 2013?
Yeah, I think 13 or 14, that presidency of the Ukraine.
I see someone here. Yeah, this name is Alexander Turchinov. You have him here. It says here February 23rd, 2014. He was over here. You also had before him. You had Viktor Yanukovych.
I think that's him. Let me see their face.
You also had Petro Poroshenko, who came after in 2014. All these. That's him right there. Yanukovych.
Yeah, him, right? Yanukovych, right? He was in there. It was still Russian love, USSR love, Soviet love. But the West had got him out of there and placed they dude in there. And I forget it. Who came after him?
After him came Alexander Turchinov.
I don't think that's him, but they placed because them names is just be like hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
But they placed they dude in there. That's what that whole 14 thing when Russia invaded the eastern side of the Ukraine was about. Because Russia, Putin, he was mad as hell that his puppet was kicked out of office, and basically he lost the election, and the West puppet was up in there. And this dude talking about I could get his name. Type in Ukraine president denies EU deal. That's gonna give you his name. Cause that was a major thing he did, and that's when the EU, they was like, we going the West, the fucking wicked ass West, man. They was like, oh, people was telling them, nah, don't deny that deal with the EU. Because they was trying to make them a part of NATO back then. But he was too USSR. He was so Soviet and communist, he wouldn't do it. And they was telling him that's a big mistake. And they found a way to push him out and get him up out of there.
I think his name was Yanukovych.
It says that?
Yeah.
Okay,
says,
that's it. It just didn't sound, them Russian names be fucking me up.
Yeah, 2013.
Yeah, so he was in there. He denied the EU deal, and that's when the West was like, oh, you don't want to play ball. So the next presidency, they put that coon, This dude was a comedian. They said he did stand-up comedy.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? He ain't really know shit about politics. You know, they just find dudes like Obama. Get up in there. Get up in there. Get up in there. We gonna back you back the election and shit. Get up in there. So that's when he fled. Konovich. He fled into Russia because they would have killed him. You know, he fled into Russia under Putin. Don't tell him what he told Putin. So Putin started wilding, and that's when that whole thing in 14 happened. But the Lord had it calmed down. Maybe he wanted to set up other prophecies, seal some more elect or whatever. He calmed it down. So also, now you gotta remember this. You got they got their puppet in there now. This nigga talking all kinds of shit.
Zelensky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he talking like,
Oh,
yeah,
hell yeah.
he cool with NATO.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
we trying to get down with NATO. Like, you know, so Putin, like, that's like somebody hijacking some ancient history of yours, but put a fake ass people in there. So Putin, like, yo, the Ukraine and all that, he was like, yo, that's all part of our history. That's like, yo, you taking like a major, the strongest country in NATO is Germany or Turkey, one of them. And it's funny because it's like tit for tat, because Russian built ties with Germany from that Nord Stream 2 pipeline. You got the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, so that's delivering natural gas into Germany from the Baltic. I wish I had the map, but from the Baltic Sea running all the way to Germany. Right? Because before they had to pay the Ukraine a transportation fee to move oil through the Ukraine all the way into Germany, right? But now you got this bullshit dude in there. He probably telling Putin like, "Oh, we gonna charge you this, we gonna charge you that," and Putin probably like, "Damn, that's ridiculous." But then he like, yo, motherfucker, the Ukraine, our brothers, you a motherfucker. Like, yo, this our shit. You working with the West and shit, trying to charge us. Hey, look up right quick. I know I'm kind of overplayed. Look up right quick. How much did the Ukraine was charging Russia for oil transportation? It was like billions of dollars. And that's why Putin like, man, fuck this shit. I'm building Nord Stream 1. So he ain't had to really use the Ukraine. Then he like, oh, Nord Stream 1 was successful. Fuck it, I'm gonna build Nord Stream 2. And that what allowed Germany and other European nations to depend on Russia for what? Oil. Building ties with what? Those NATO countries. And of course, Babylon, America, they like, hell no, nigga, y'all can't be getting cool with Russia and be dependent on them for like oil and shit like that. So now if they cut Russia oil from being delivered to them European countries out there, now the West gotta export oil out, because it's like, yo, you cut our fucking oil supply, right. You gotta look us out now. That's why oil in Babylon, America right now, the gas is like constantly jumping, because now they gotta export out and they gotta hit other countries like, yo, cough up some of your oil. But these other countries might feel like Australia, like, yo, man, like, yo, like, they ain't even part of NATO. Like, what the fuck is you doing? Just let them take their shit back. That's their shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So he like, but the West like, no, we gotta put sanctions on them and shit like that, this and that. But Russia is a superpower. So you put sanctions on a superpower like that, the world is gonna be like affected. Right. Now, you gotta step in with your resources to fill in for what that superpower was supplying. And if you can't do it, that's gonna put stress on your own economy. That's why gas is going up. And not just that, you're gonna tell your other allies to cough up their shit. And they ain't gonna be feeling that. And that's why the beast is gonna hate the whore. Like, yo, man, they ain't even part of NATO. Mind your fucking business. When your ass went into Iraq bombing shit, Russia ain't fucking step in. You know, like, oh, these niggas bombing fucking Saddam Hussein.
That's your problem.
Yeah, they like, yo, that's they shit, man. That dude up in there talking about some getting down with them. They ain't even part of the set.
Right. God.
That's like, yo, you got an army of like, let's say a gang of Bloods. You know, he like, we the Bloods, nigga. We about to go to war. You know, it's like, okay, with who? You're like, all right, now what we doing this for that guy over there? You be like, yo, who is this guy? He ain't even blood. We don't even know this nigga. He dealing with shit over there.
Yeah, God.
He ain't even part of NATO, nigga. Like, that shit over there. Leave that shit alone. You know, you dragging us into this shit. Okay, if you want to put NATO troops on NATO's, because, you know, Poland and all them countries right then and there next to Ukraine. So you want to be like, all right, this Russia act a little wild, then they're going to push further west. We're going to put a stop to that shit. Cool, I understand that. Set up your troops on them NATO borders, but leave that shit in the Ukraine alone. You ain't got shit to do with that. That's why Biden trying to really attack it in other ways, like, oh, we going to put this, we're going to supply missile blockers, and we're going to put sanctions on them. It's not like a direct, like, like if they invaded Germany. It's not like a direct, like, no, nigga, like, we sending troops and guns and tanks. He can't really do that because it's still like none of his business. But that's that greed of the West butting into shit. And guess what, man? That dude, not Kovacic, the one they got in now. That,
Zelensky?
yeah. That, the comedian. This dude was a fucking stand-up comedian,
like
man.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah,
Look like
yeah.
it, yeah.
He don't look
Like
like what
a joke.
Putin looks like. He about it.
Yeah.
He
Like an actor.
Yeah, well, that's what he was, an actor. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I lost my train of thought. What was he talking about?
Saying the guy in there right now. Puppet.
The Ukraine. What was the last topic? Because my mom was like,
He's talking about Russia's taking over Ukraine now because Ukraine is getting more westernized because of Zelensky.
right. Right. So Zelensky. We was on the oil.
Yeah, they didn't show the prices because all the news is talking about how prices is gonna go up. So they're not putting any articles on how much they used to charge.
Okay, but put it like this: the transport that oil through the Ukraine, they was charging the shit out of Russia, but Russia like, yo, these are brothers' territory, but he's in there like a fake puppet. Like, I'm for the Ukrainian people, this and that. So you know Putin mad as hell to be like an old Soviet. Like, look at this motherfucker on our people's shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This nigga westernized out. Then he talking about joining NATO and shit like that. Now, that's what I was gonna say. Now Russia burned down on their shit and bombing them. This dude crying out for help.
And nobody go.
Yo, that's the West, man. That's Babylon for you. They put your ass in office and the Russian, you know, this could be a lie, it might not be true, but I could possibly believe it because they wanted, them soldiers got orders. If you see this motherfucking president, they probably beat the living dog shit out of him and kill his family and all that shit.
Yeah.
Because you know, capturing the president and like, you know, little soldiers, rebel groups on the ground, that's,
Yo, leader? Nah.
rebel groups on the ground, that's one thing, right? But to capture the president and kill his ass, like they did with Gaddafi, like they did with Saddam Hussein, they really wanted like the top, they wanted to X out the top dude. Because that's kind of like, you know, the puppet of the West to run their policies through. So if you could kill him, you know, that'd be great. So here it is, the West put this fucking battery in your back. And this how grimy Esau on the West is, man. They put you in office, fund your campaign, put this battery in your back to fuck with this beer. Now the beer start welling on your ass. You like fucking Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. Y'all saw that? Man, that fucking grizzly whoop. Now, yo, so y'all check that. That's a good movie, The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a real good movie. It's about revenge and love, man. It's a good movie. Check it out. But now the beer is on you. You like, help, help, help. And they just sending you like bullshit aid. They not like sending in troops. You know, they just like, yo, do this, do that. I'm gonna send you this and that. Like, nah, like that's like a bear on you. You got an arm, but you throwing them sticks. Or like, so hit him with that, and you just yelling, hit him with that, hit him with this. Yo, Biden's a bitch, man. Yo, Biden, you's a fucking bitch, man. Because you tell, oh, Russia gonna pay and do that and do that, this and that. Really, it's all up to the Lord. And it's the Lord controlling the elites, and all this shit is set up and stayed. But to deal with it on a more simple level, man, Joe Biden, you's a bitch, man. I believe if Trump was up in there, he probably would have got shit a little more shaken, or he would have left it alone. But Biden, Russia will pay, trust and believe it. We're gonna put sanctions on him. Motherfucker, this is a superpower. You think he thinking about some fucking sanctions? The dude got billions of fucking dollars himself. You think this dude worried about some punk bitch ass sanctions that not even, some might affect them like up front, but some might affect them in the long run. This dude, if he take the Ukraine back, that's way more resources than some bitch ass sanctions, man.
Yeah.
And the Ukraine hold the whole southern border of Russia, man. So, hey, matter of fact, outside of the U.S.-Mexico border, Ukraine has the second biggest border in the whole entire earth, on the whole entire globe. First is the U.S.-Mexican border. Second is the Russia-Ukraine border. That's the largest, second biggest border of countries on the globe, man. So you think Putin about to let? First of all, y'all told Yeltsin that you're not going to expand NATO. Y'all did this shit with 3 other countries. And now you're trying to do it with the Ukraine through some punk, fake, fucking puppet. You see that dude, man? That dude, like, yo, imagine you that shit like sitting Goliath next to David. Like, this ruddy motherfucker, I should choke him out, man. That's how that dude look like. So you set him up and you gas him up, put the battery in his back. Now he getting rolled on. And there's none of y'all there to actually help him.
Yeah, he's done.
None of y'all there to actually help him.
Oh, just to add on to your point, that was like when Sennacherib, I think was the king. He sent Rabshakeh, messenger.
His general.
And he was like, thou trustest in this broken reed of Egypt, that when a man go and lay on it, it pierces his hand.
I was thinking about that whole time.
When you ever trust Russia, it's just going to hurt you. I mean, not Russia, it's like
Babylon.
when you trust Babylon and Egypt, it's just going to hurt you. It's going to come back to hurt you.
Yeah, it says that their strength is in sitting still. And that's exactly what they're doing. I was talking with the brother Ayash about the whole Russia thing too, and he was saying how NATO wanted to add Ukraine to NATO because since they border Russia, they were going to be able to put their missiles right in Ukraine, which is right on the border of Russia. And Russia is like, nah, we're not retarded, because NATO says, nah, just trust us. We're not going to use it on you right now. And Russia said, okay, so we the dumbasses who say, yeah, come put missiles on our border. So maybe 10 years from now, when you feel like using it, then you're going to blast the shit out of us because you're right there. So they said, nah, Ukraine, you ain't joining shit. So matter of fact, for safe, like you said, for safekeeping, we just gonna take the shit over.
That was their shit anyway.
Exactly.
We just read the Ukrainian SR, whatever they blended it in, and the Ukraine was one of the top haters of Babylon and during the Cold War. The Ukraine wanted that soft because that was Russia's little bro. They're like, oh, y'all fucking with Russia? Like, we come out of the same fucking lineage. Our whole history sprung out together. They was anti-Babylon. And we just read how many of they nukes they gave back to Russia and like firepower and all of that, you know? So so that's where the frustration come in at, and also they will be able to try to tamper with Russia's transportation of their oil going into going into Europe. See, notice they put a halt to Nord Stream 2. Mm-hmm. Nord Stream 2 is completed, it just hasn't been certified for use, but it's actually built and completed. But notice they didn't put a halt on Nord Stream 1.
Right.
Because if you really putting sanctions on Russia, you would have been like, oh, Nord Stream 1 and 2 is done. Yeah. But then European countries would be like, hold up, motherfucker, hold the fuck up. Nigga, you ain't about to have us in the dark because you beefing with these motherfuckers. And that's when, hey, give me that in Revelations.
17.
Yeah.
Go hit her.
Yeah, because Babylon don't give a fuck about nobody but they self. Ultimately, and them so-called Jews. Like, if you fuck with Amalek, they gonna bring it to your ass. But really, Babylon only care about themselves and the state of Israel. That's it. Them other countries, they just use them for stunt dummies, and they gonna notice that. They gonna be like, man, this dude's setting us up for destruction and death. And they was kind of saying that before, like, listen, World War I and II, our countries was destroyed. Our cities was burned down, not yours. You know what I'm saying? You want us to do this and that, this and all this and that. But when the heat and judgment come down, we gonna feel it. Like, we live next to, like, that's like you live in this building, I live way in Jersey, I start beefing with motherfuckers right here. And you like, yo, Josiah, man, you gotta chill, man, brothers live here. At the end of the day, you go home. Yeah, if you around, you will help us deal with them. But you going 6 days out of the week. I gotta wake up and see these motherfuckers every day. You know, like, there's a lot of Russians that live in their countries and stuff, like citizens that live in their countries, or they can sneak sleeper cells or whatever in there. So it's just like, yo, y'all way the fuck in the West, in Canada and Mexico and shit. Y'all way over there. Y'all putting battery packs in our back to fuck with this big ass bear right here, and you way the fuck over here, and you ain't really throwing no aid.
Right.
And that's when these countries gonna be like, man, fuck, hey, they gonna burn, they gonna shoot nukes on this bitch. The beast gonna burn this bitch down, man, along with Russia, you know?
You get beat up in the corner, he's like, duck, man, watch Bob and Weave. It's like,
yeah, a spectator.
Yeah.
A spectator, that's what they doing. But all right, you wanna spectate, fine. But why you hype them up to do that shit? How you hype somebody up to do something, then when he getting fucked up, you just...
No sanctions on him.
You can take it. You got it, man. Get in there.
Throw more sanctions. The nigga died.
Yeah. Like, yo, the niggas need help. They getting rolled on bad. Like, yo, send in some aid. You know? And that's fucked up, man. Yeah. That's fucked up. That's like you tell somebody, yo, go come with me over here to fight these dudes. Like, and you be like, all right, yo, niggas fucking with you, where they at? And he come to help you fight, but you start getting your ass kicked and you just bail on him. And he was there to come helping you. He all in the hospital and shit. Afterwards, you whole and healthy, like maybe a little busted lip or whatever. You like, yo, man, damn, that's fucked up what they did to you.
Oh my God.
That's basically what's going on. And what? Babylon could care less. Babylon could care less. They was like, well, they was a part of NATO, great. But since they not, fuck it, let's move on to the next strategy. That's how they on it. They was like, well, it didn't work, so plan B. You know, dude, man, got fucked up. They took his shit. All right, let's try to work on Nord Stream 2, what we gonna do with that or something else, or, you know. And that's basically what it's going to be. But Russia, remember, Russia haven't invaded a country in fucking ages. But Babylon has been. Then you talking about Russia fucking meddling with the elections. Hold up, wait a minute. Have America fucked with elections? Yeah, plenty of elections. Yep. So even if they did mess with the Trump election, so what? See, when America does it, it's not a problem.
Right.
When y'all invaded Gaddafi, when y'all invaded, try to invade Assad, when y'all invaded Saddam Hussein, it wasn't a fucking problem. It wasn't a problem. Bomb Turkey and these different things, nobody bats an eye. Russia ain't invade or fuck with nobody in years. As soon as they burn down on the Ukraine, oh, Putin, the fucking monster, the monster. When y'all been terrorizing the whole fucking earth for fucking decades, man. Since the bear was asleep, then when the bear woke up, it was still chilling. Until 2014, well, with Georgia, with Crimea, and in 14, that was like little skirmishes. but they haven't really invaded or some shit like, you know, what they, this like down there was happening, what happened in Baghdad in '03, what's going on with the Ukraine, you know, refugees and all of that. But Russia was chilling, man. But you been you the hammer of the earth, man. Like the scripture said, you've been fucking terrorizing and torturing the nations and shit. Not the fucking Russians. Putin just defended his homeland, man. You're not about to take the fucking Ukraine. That's like Russia coming to Mexico. Like, yo, a new Mexican president going, he fund them. Like, yo, you gonna win this campaign, this, that. He fund a Mexican. Now, you got a Russian influence inside of Mexico, and you like, yeah, we're gonna announce that Mexico is now a part of Russia. We are allies and this and that, this and that. Babylon will be like, hold up. Nah. Even 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis. It was not Reagan, it was Nixon. 1962 with the Cuban Missile Crisis. Nixon said, what'd he say?
That's
but
the great in Russia.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It's like, yo, you can't take him. He
That's
too
the US
big.
right there.
You can't take him. He too big.
Yeah, that's Zelensky right there.
That's
1962, right? Cuban Missile Crisis. Yo, Russia wanted to put nukes.
I'm gonna pull you back.
Yep.
Yeah, I will pull these back. Yeah, that's the spirit. Kind. Russia wanted to put nukes in Cuba. So Kennedy, I do think it was Kennedy, not Nixon. Kennedy, like under the Kennedy administration, he like, yo, what do you say? Oh, they didn't actually build them. They had, you know, Cuba's an island. They had boats and shit with missile attachments to put in Cuba. But Kennedy was like, yo, turn your ships around. If you don't turn them around, we gonna sink them. Like hit them with bombs and sink them, because you're not putting nukes in Cuba. So Russia agreed, but this is what they don't tell you. It was an exchange. Because Russians don't give a fuck, like, we ain't turning shit around. Right. But it was this is what they don't tell you. Babylon had nukes in Turkey. They was like, we'll only take it down, turn our shits around for one reason, if you remove your nukes out of Turkey, because you got nukes on our fucking border. Right. So it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Hypocrites.
Yeah, but it's like, yo, but Russia, the Lord got the spirit. See the beast carried the whore, meaning the whore directed, she ruled over people, nations, and tongues. She's the hammer of the earth. But the Lord got one spirit that's not fucking really budging, and that's Russia. But along with what the Chinese a little more compliant on the tip. But you know, you got the little dog Kim Jong-un, but really that real rebel, like, yo, you ain't about to fucking push your weight around here. You doing what? Nah, hell no. Now the beast and the whore is powerful as hell, but Russia got that nuclear they got so many fucking warheads, because it's just like, yo, we could take Russia probably on some fight, conventional weapon drone shit. But if they start letting them fucking nukes go, ain't nobody gonna fucking win. And that's kind of like you could look at somebody like, yo, look at this little nigga, I'll beat him up. But you be like, yo, but he got a gun on him. That'll kind of make you respect him. Like, we got guns too, though. But you be like, then people gonna die and shit if we really do like some shit like that. So we gotta like get that little nigga like you know what I'm saying? Because there's no winner in a nuclear war. You know, that's why the Lord said, really Esau don't want a nuclear war. He just playing games and shit, but shit gonna get out of hand. The Lord gonna put it in his heart to fulfill his will. So get that. Revelation 17 and 15 through 18. So that's where the anger and frustration come in at. You trying to turn Russia's little brother basically against him.
Yeah, Russia said, Putin said that. He said that they're not going to leave Ukraine until their purpose that they went in there for is complete. And he said, we're not trying to occupy territory. We're trying to cleanse Ukraine of he called it Nazism. Basically, like there's like a corruptness in there that they trying to take out. And I believe that's that Western influence.
Yeah, with that, well, it's deeper than him. He was just a puppet face of the presidency put there, but it's deeper than him. They trying to even get the citizens' minds fucked up off of that Soviet to where they win the actual people over, because the whole eastern side of Ukraine is Russian.
Yeah.
The whole western side of Ukraine is kind of like westernized, but before that real influence come, that westernization, what is it called? Westernization or Americanization? It's an actual term, actual hit Ukraine. Putin trying to like cleanse that poison before it spread all the way through.
Yeah.
Which is I don't blame the man. I don't blame the man. You know, I would do the same motherfucking thing. You know, and if you let NATO get the Ukraine, it ain't over for you, but that'll be a power. That's like losing your queen on the fucking chessboard before that bitch did any real damage. You know, you playing chess, you could lose your queen, matter if you swap them out, or if you did lose them, but you like, all right, she did what I needed her to do. But if you lose your queen too fast, that shit gonna hurt. Like,
They're going the whole game.
Hey, sometimes I'll be like, all right, you won, man. Let's just start this shit over because this shit is, you know, I could play without her, but shit just be way difficult. And that's what it'll be for Russia if they was you lose the Ukraine. And not just that, a lot of they in Kiev and a lot of their history in there, because they came out of like the same, like it's in the Ukraine. They like one people, you know?
Yeah.
You got a lot of Russians inside the Ukraine and vice versa. Like half of them speak Russian, some of them speak like Ukrainian. You know, they like the same people, but the West is trying to put that influence there. But I didn't know Putin had actually said that.
Yeah.
So they gonna be in there pushing their Soviet, and Putin's not a, you mean he gonna try to win the people over, going in and treating them like shit? Nah, he gonna give them food. You know what I mean? Like the West make it seem like he gonna go in there, do chemical attacks on his people. And because you go to some of these countries where they say the leaders is doing that, you go there because you got reporters that actually fly there and be like, and ask people questions. But the West try to silence that shit. But it's hard to silence like the social media. So it's Assad bombing and starving the people. No, we love them and everything ain't fine. But with the Western news, they try to demonize them. So Putin try to clean out that Westernization out of the Ukraine. Why would the fuck he go in there starving them out, doing foul shit to them? He's going to be a great leader, like a leader should be. He's going to feed them, he's going to do this and this and that. Half of the Ukraine is already Russian, the eastern side.
Yeah.
And you know, the western side, they're like, I got cousins that live on the east. And a lot of really citizens is idiots, man. Like these people walking around, they don't care. They just like, whatever, as long as I can eat and shit and like fuck my woman and shit, I don't care who's ruling. A lot, maybe very few, but the average like people, these guys, they don't care. You know, they don't care about, you think these guys care about Ukraine getting bombed? These people, these college students and shit, that's what they call, they citizens. They got like airtight airheads. They not soldiers. They don't know really know what the fuck is going on. So you tell them like Russia's ruling now, and half of their country was kind of already Russian. They're like, oh, okay, all right, fine. Like, what does that mean? Does anything? I can still go to work. Yeah, you still get paid, but the money system is changing to this. But still, the market's looking good. Russia's a superpower, so you'll be well taken care of. We got ties here. Oh, okay, fine. We're just gonna pull this flag down and put this flag down. But people don't care about shit like that. People really care about themselves. Can I eat, sleep, and fuck, and have fun? That's what people care about. They don't care who's reigning or ruling.
Right.
For the most part, as long as you don't put a tyrant, like tyrant in power, they be like, oh, who? Like if King Jong-un took over Babylon, and you told all the Babylonians, like, Kim Jong-un is now dictator, and shit all under Kim Jong-un. So people will probably be like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit is about to change. But like, if shit like is still reasonable to some type of degree, it's cool. People don't care. Like, it might have little restrictions, little shit might be a little different. But as long as people could come and go as they please and have their little fun and raise their families and chill with their girls, because Russia got theater, they got shit Babylon got. They got Gucci, they got all that shit. So the average citizen, they don't care, man. They don't care. But bring that out, brother.
I was gonna say too, the way Putin did it, you know, he's smart. You know, like you were saying, they try to make him look like he's an animal. But when you look at it, Putin, first he said, look, we're going to first recognize the part of Ukraine that support Moscow. We're going to recognize them before, and then he went through the Russian Congress and said, yo, he sought permission to use Russian military outside of Russia. And he said,
this is according to international law.
yeah,
right.
And then he said, if they ask for us to come in there and help them out, we're going to come up in there. And then they basically used that to get their foot up into Ukraine, and now they're going about. And Russia, yeah, okay. So he did it through the processes. And
that's clever.
Yeah, and what's this guy? Zelensky, he's an actor. They told him, look, go out there and publicly say, oh, Russia, stop, all that bullshit. Russia stopped for a second and said, look, you surrender? I'm gonna kill nobody.
Right. And they making it seem like this Adam dude with the this New York mayor. He said, we not firing people because they won't take the jab. You quitting. Like he trying to put it on. He was like, if this is the requirement and you're not doing it, that's you basically quit. We not firing you. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what they're trying to do with Putin. He's defending his territory. He's not an aggressor. You gotta understand, Russia hasn't invaded or been like, to be a bear in that bear mentality, you think it's the fucking West. Like the scripture said, how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder? You know, it's the West, mainly America, with them NATO countries, because America used them NATO countries. They basically bullied them economically, because it's like, yo, if y'all don't play ball, and y'all need a little cash and need a little help and shit like that, I ain't gonna look you out. And that's what the West do. Or if some shit go down, y'all gonna need our help. You know you gonna need us. And they it's like a subconscious type bully. It's not like, do this or we gonna fuck you up, because they kind of allies. But it's just kind of like, oh, you gonna tell me no? And then it's kind of like, what is it? Like, that's like when Eve like, all right, I got you, yo. And you be like, you got me. Then you like, what this bitch about to do? Because, you know, women can be real conniving. So when a woman say, I got you, meaning I'm gonna pay you back. But it's like, is that just a figure of speech, or she really gonna like pay me back or do some slick shit on me? You know? But that's basically what they doing. But read that. 17, 15. So been wanting to bring that out for a minute now.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah, the beast is NATO, the EU. These shall hate the whore, eat her flesh, make her naked, and burn her with fire. So that's what them shooting nuclear missiles on America. Their own allies. It said these shall hate the whore, meaning it's gonna come, because when you read at 17, the whore carried the beast, the beginning of it. Or she rode upon the beast. Now if you carrying somebody around, you pampering them. You know? Like, cause you can walk. motherfucker.
Right.
But it's like, yo, carry me. So that's basically like showing you how these other countries pamper and cater to like America's beck and need and call. But it's gonna come to find out these nations gonna be like, yo, these the West is basically using us as pawns and sacrificial lambs to do its bidding. And when we get fucked up by Russia and China, these larger Eastern countries, like, you know where to like back us and help us. It's like, yo, you on your own. You know?
Like you talking about carrying them, like how you got like a palanquin where the king is really the one getting carried, and then you got the people, because it's like the two bars.
Yeah.
You got one here, one in the back, and they walking and carrying the ruler, and he's basically directing them, go here, and they, you know, he don't gotta walk, you know, because they're carrying him there. So that shows that one is subject to another kind of thing.
Right, exactly. That was a beautiful breakdown. That was a beautiful breakdown. And that's what, you know, I wanted to bring out to touch on that history. You know, it's more like talking, but I had to edify that point on what's going on. And now brothers could, you know, look on them different summaries and go deeper into it, you know, if you choose to. But that's basically what leading up. And as any man, you would defend like your home. Even you got homes now where Esau got the Second Amendment. You got the right to like defend your home and protect your family, and that's basically what Putin is doing against NATO and Babylonian, which is America aggression. You know. But you want to bring something out?
Oh, you finished on that?
The making her naked, that's good. America is being exposed by these other countries. Like a while ago, it was India, showing what's actually going on in these other countries. Like when you look at alternative news channels, like the elder was saying, the reporters that actually do real reports, and you'll find out that what's actually going on in these other countries is not what we're being told here.
Yeah. And then ultimately, they see, that's like the elder was going into, the days of America are short. You got to think. I was looking at UK and some of these European countries, and I was like, hold on a second. They just had an energy crisis, and that Nord Stream pipeline 2 was to supply a whole lot of. Russia said, look, we're gonna help you out. You know, through this pipeline, we're gonna supply energy to Europe. So now these dumbasses are saying, yeah, we're gonna join in Babylon, and we're gonna sanction Russia, and we're gonna shut this pipeline down. Russia's like, all right, nigga, it's making money for us, but you need the energy.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come a point where they're gonna be now, like you were saying, like we read, the European allies are gonna be like, yo, look, it's been a minute, these sanctions, I know we were hyped when we started it, but it's starting to affect us now. Because you all the way in the West, you good, you got oil reserves. We in the energy crisis right now. So it's at our expense, your beef is at our expense.
Yeah.
Because we your ally, we just gotta do, look, you gotta ease up on that shit. And I remember, I think during Trump's time, when he said, you were just gonna sanction this guy, everybody sanction him, some of them European countries were like, yo, we not trying to sanction them. I think it was Iran. They were saying we're not trying to sanction Iran because we got deals going on with Iran, and that's going to affect us. Because at the core of every nation, they still have their nation in mind first, you know? And, you know, I may be an ally, so I may go the extra mile for you, but it's not going to be when I'm suffering you benefited at my expense. So eventually they're going to see, yo, it's hurting us more to be allied to Babylon than it is helping us.
Yeah, that's like I'm beefing with Shalimar, and you work for him. But you cool, me and you cool, but he's your employer. But we actually cool. Right. And I'll be like, yo, man, fuck that motherfucker, man. I don't like him. He's like, yeah, I don't really like him either. All right, whatever. And I'm like, yo, man, stop working for that motherfucker, man. And you be like, what? You be like, all right, man, I could do that, but yo, you know I got all types of bills and shit, right? I got child support from 2 other kids. I just got married. I just bought a house. I got 2 cars in a truck. I go on 3 different vacations a year. Like, you gonna pay for that shit? And you know Babylon devils, so they probably like, yeah, we got you. And you be done quit and shit, and I'm hitting you with like half of that shit. Like, this is some more coming. We gotta hit the other people. I told a bunch of other motherfuckers to quit. I told them, hold up, man. Now you and your wife arguing and shit. The lights got out, motherfucker. You listening to that damn Tazaya? Right? So you like, yo, what's up, man? You told me to, now you mad, like, yo, you told me to quit, you got me, yeah, I did hit you. Yeah, that ain't enough. You say you gonna hold me down, I'm losing my shit getting cut off, evictions and shit like that. Now you talking about something you told, I ain't got shit to do with that. You told 20 other motherfuckers to quit too. You should have told me that when you told me to quit, so I could make a proper decision whether I do this shit, because I would have known you wouldn't have been able to fucking hold my resources down. Because when it come to men, it's all about resources. Lands, well, real resources. Lands, water, minerals that, like, men went to war for that shit all the time. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yep. And then if you were to start giving me saying, giving all of them saying, now you getting messed up, you know?
Right, so now I'm hitting my family like, look, which is the American people. I'm going to my wife and shit like, remember I told you I'm gonna take you to Jamaica? Instead of going to Jamaica, we going to Niagara Falls. Like, yo, I've been here before. Ain't nothing but a fucking waterfall. I want to see the islands and the fucking scuba diving and shit. You know? He be like, yo, I was taking you to fucking, I don't know, Lucas Steakhouse. Now your ass eating fucking Burger King.
Right.
So now what? People gonna start complaining. Or you be like, yo, shit costs a little more. So in order for, like, you like, yo, I'm beefing with Russia. They sanctioning this, sanctioning that. Other countries feeling it. I'm trying to back them. But what I'm going to do is take it out on my citizens. So I'm going to be like, yo, I'm going to just boost the gas. And summertime ain't even hit yet. Gas $4.
Yep.
I try to find it at like $3.50, $3.55 in certain areas. But that's not everywhere. You kind of like gotta drive to those areas, and sometimes it's not worth going all the way over there. So you just get it where you at. But some spots, that shit regular. That shit like and that shit hitting the truckers. You know what I'm saying? It's like a domino effect. They had like in DC, like a truck, like a rally with the truckers, man. Because that gas, and I'm like, yo, they bitching already on that 30-cent, 40-cent raise. I'm like, shit, that's like raise one. What if like this shit kick out some more and they be like, yo, we shutting down Nord Stream 2, which I mean Nord Stream 1, because Nord Stream 2 not actually in effect. It's not running. It's built though, but they haven't they was on the verge of just certifying it, because that shit was going to run like triple the amount of oil to Europe than what Nord Stream 1 was. They didn't know Nord Stream 1 was going to be so effective. Hey, get that. Get that history right quick, because it's also a economic war too.
Yeah.
Because what?
Nord Stream 1 or 2?
One.
Get one. N-O-R-D, Nord. Because a lot of brothers think it's North, but it's Nord. N-O-R-D. Nord Stream 1, bring that history out since we on the topic, because it's an economic thing too. So they also want to protect that petrodollar, you know, that petrodollar. So America, like, yo, the West is the hypocrite, but the joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Listen, you don't want Russia being tight with Germany, which is one of the biggest allies of NATO, but you want to be tight with the Ukraine, one of Russia's biggest allies? How the fuck that shit don't work? Like, you can do it, but I can't do it.
What's yours is mine, what's mine is mine.
Yeah, but Germany, like, what, man? Fuck you. We doing business with Russia because you're not going to supply our whole country. Then it's like, yo, you got to take shit way from the West through cargo ships. Why would you go out of your way that far? This how you know it's just the Lord. The beef with a motherfucker. Like, yo, no, put sanctions on them. You know when somebody deeply hates, like just like Jake's in the hood, like, yo, leave that shit alone. Nah, man, that shit can't slide, man. Nah. And you just hold that grudge and hatred, like how Saul had for David. You know what I'm saying? Then that's kind of like, yo, why is you going way out of your way to do all of that shit just to fuck with these niggas? They way the fuck over there.
Right.
And that's how you know that's the Lord. Like, yo, y'all way on the west, minding our fucking business. Y'all way on the east. Fuck it, y'all can have NATO and them motherfuckers. Y'all do y'all thing. We way across the Atlantic. Me, Mexico, and Canada. Me and my niggas over here chilling. We ain't thinking about y'all niggas. Keep that shit over there, and I'ma keep my shit over here. But the Lord got it like, no, that's how you know it's of the Lord, because there's plenty of space. Like, y'all way the fuck over there. You think I'm gonna be putting oil containers on my fucking boats, bringing it to fucking Germany every fucking day? And these different NATO countries? Then they like, yo, we got Nord Stream 1 just running hella oil. Nord Stream 2 is already hooked up. It just hasn't been certified, but like, yo, we, like you said later on, we're like, yo, man, they might have a G20. Like, yo, man, yo, stop running that motherfucking natural gas. Because that's like natural gas is like the new energy source power to fuel a country, you know? So like, yo, man, stop running Nord Stream 2. Then Russia could drop the prices. So now it's like, because what the dollar is backed by oil. First it was gold, but Nixon switched it to the oil, the dollar, the petrodollar. You know, so now these countries got to turn their currency into dollars in order to buy oil or use different commodities, trade to. That's why there's so many Toyotas here. They would trade Hondas. They would trade like a commodity that's in need of the U.S. for oil, to buy oil from the petrodollar, because the dollar was coined as the world reserve currency. So now if you got Russia coming like, listen, I got the whole fucking Europe with Nord Stream 2 and 1 running, and he still got the Ukraine hauling shit for him too, that transport line through there, at a reasonable price that stay up in there now, or probably for free, you know. He probably could set different oil prices for them countries, like cutthroat. That's like you got Apocrypha for $15, and I'm like, damn, that is the standard price that they going. But you be like, man, fuck it, I got, you know. I'm cool with Iran and shit, like Iran bubbling with oil. And I'm cool with Venezuela. I'm over there, I got shit shot up over there. They like the oil of the West. Man, I got hella fucking oil. Let me check with Iran and Venezuela right quick to see if they front me some shit, this and that. I got my military bases up in there, you know, holding them down. We cool and shit. They're like, yeah, we got you. We sitting on hella shit. So he probably like, you know what? Instead of fucking $70 a barrel, I'll give it to you for 50. You know what I'm saying? So now that's what, cutting the West. That's cutting. Now that's a reason to go to war though. In the hood, we call that shit short stopper. That's like, we've been on this block for fucking years. 20 years, our fathers, we the next generation. We sell weed. Then the nigga moves like 2 buildings down. And we like, yo, how much money you made today? Kind of fun, we see customers like, nah, we good, we got it already. We like, from who? They like, yo, it's some niggas that moved in the 5th floor up there. They short stopping. They standing out there before they could get to y'all, and over there in the block right there. Yo, nah, we got it right here. We got it right here. We got it right. So we hitting like, yo, where's the bread at? They showed you that in Belly. They call it short stopping. But it's all part of business. You can't get mad. It's just competition. But the West got that capitalistic type mentality. They want to sell to everybody. Right. They want to be in business with everybody. Nobody else to do business but us. And if you do business, it's through us.
Yeah.
and for us in some type of way.
Related to us,
Yeah. And so, but now Russia is able to what? Help destroy what? That petrodollar. Then if I'm cool with NATO, if I'm cool with these EU countries, we don't need NATO and US bases, embassies in their country no more. Cause it's just like, yo, we cool with Russia. Like, we don't, you can remove your soldiers, tell them motherfuckers to go home to their families. Because like shit cool now. So that'll destroy like Western influence in the region and in the area. You got that Nord Stream.
All right, so this is Nord Stream. No, it's not saying fire, it's saying water. It says, is a system of offshore natural gas pipelines in Europe running under the Baltic Sea from Russia to Germany. It includes 2 pipelines running from Yaborg, hopefully I'm saying that right, in northwest Russia to Lumbin near Griswold in northeastern Germany, forming the original Nord Stream, also known as Nord Stream 1. Former names North Transgas and North European Gas Pipeline, and 2 further pipelines running from Luga in northwestern Russia to Lumbin, termed Nord Stream 2.
Right. So basically, it's Nord Stream 2 is the same path as Nord Stream 1. It's damn near built right next to it. It's just that Nord Stream 1 had reached its full capacity. And Russia like, damn, I ain't know how to do like that well. Build another one. You know what I'm saying? So they built 2 and it finally was completed, but this kicked off with the Ukraine. So Babylon was able to tell Germany put 2 on hold for now. But if you notice, they didn't say clip 1. It was like, nah, 1 is still in effect because they need this shit to fuel their economy. They're dependent on it. And the West could only do but so much to replace that oil without hurting their own society. They said Germany take up their whole country, and that's just Germany. Because that, it's other, so Babylon can't afford but to help them but so much. So how you gonna just snip or clip Russia out the deal like that? Them sanctions ain't really hurting Putin. And even if they was, he had more of a greater of a benefit to take, all right, we're gonna lose on the sanctions, but guess what? We're gonna take the Ukraine, we're gonna take the Ukraine back. That's way better of safety and way more of a benefit than letting them have the Ukraine and just dealing with Nord Stream 2. Like, okay, we got the gas running in Europe and all that, but we got fucking nuclear missiles on our southern border, or missile defense systems on our southern border. That don't make no sense, because security is number 1, economics is number 2. Because you can have economics but bad security, your ass won't get jacked. That's like a rapper out here, yeah, he got the economics and financing, but you need security. You'll be a fool, these rappers, yeah, no security, I'm in the hood, we don't need security. Yeah, all right. You do, because that niggas is stupid. When you deal with economics and finances, you need security. That just goes, it goes hand in hand. Yep. Economics, you need security. So why would Russia build their economics with Nord Stream 2, fall back from the Ukraine, let Nord Stream 2 go through, build their economics, but their security is compromised? That's fucking stupid. And Putin way too intelligent to do such a foolish move like that. Right. Trade a fucking pawn for a rook. That's
like
stupid.
A master chess player.
Yeah. That's stupid. That's trading a queen for a pawn, man. Right.
Yeah, when you go into, I think it's Joel, the 3rd chapter, when it says turn their pruning hooks into spears.
Yeah.
Basically, instead of focusing on your economics, focus on your security, so that way you can keep your economics.
God damn. That's why it's important, brothers, to know the scripture, because that was a beautiful point. Because brothers brought that out through the years, but as prophecy unfold, them same scriptures get looked at in a different light. Turn your pruning hooks into swords and spears. Damn, that was a bad one, bro. That was a bad one.
Yep. Yeah, because with a sword and a spear, like you mentioned, defense, you can, a sword can be used for attack and defense. You know, so like we go into it as like them preparing their arsenal, you know, for war. But in war, you also got to defend as well as attack. You know, so yeah, that's a beautiful point that the brother brought out. And I mean, ultimately, like we said, it's all Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know, putting that thought into them, because it sort of came out of nowhere. You know, when the move is like out of nowhere, they just start talking about Russia's planning to invade Ukraine, Russia's doing this, Russia's doing that. And that's the Most High putting it both into Putin's mind, but also into the West's mind to provoke, you know, to keep poking the bear, like, you're gonna wake up, you know? And then when the bear finally wakes up, they're like, oh, this nigga bigger than I thought. You know, that's Zelensky. You know, fuck. You know,
they poked them in '96 when they added countries to NATO. Mm-hmm. That kind of like, well, then they kept poking them. Mm-hmm. You know, with the Zelensky, then the join the NATO, and you know.
Yep.
So that you just attacking, like, and that's how. My thing, and yo, the West Edomites is just cowards, period. Because it's like, yo, you the so-called top number army, this and that. Russia broken down to these smaller republics, and you still fucking worried about them and scared of them. They ain't been making no noise, and you still focus on how you could destroy them when the motherfuckers is asleep. And that's what woke them up, because you still trying to, like, destroy their... Like, yo, he sleep. Like, deal with that shit when the motherfucker wake up. But by you doing shit like that, you making noise while the bear is sleeping, you gonna help wake him up.
Yeah, that reminded me of, there's this cartoon I watched. It was a movie. I watched it when I was, like, years ago. It's called Over the Hedge. I don't know if any of y'all seen it, but y'all can look it up. And there's, in the beginning scene, there's this raccoon. And he goes into this cave.
Movie or cartoon?
It's like a cartoon, a movie in cartoon form.
Okay.
So he goes into the cave and he sees a bear sleeping. And he sees, like, because he's hungry as shit. So he got a little red cart trying to get food. And he comes in there, he sees the bear stocked up on everything, all kinds of snacks. Yo, this nigga grab. He filled up his little red cart. So he's going. And then he turns around and he sees the bear's clutching onto, like, Pringles. Like one Pringles in the bear's hand. This motherfucker was so greedy. He said, nah. He walked and he stopped the kid. He said, nah, I need those Pringles. And that was his mistake. Because he went there, sneaking, trying to grab that one shit. It's over the hedge.
Over the hedge, okay.
This dumbass raccoon, he got the whole cart. He said, nah, I want that one more that the bear's clinching on. He woke the bear up. Bear said, oh, nah, nigga. He said, the bear's about to kill him. But he said, nah, nigga, now I'm going to take all your shit. Now you got to give me some more. You know, but that reminded me of, you said how they took like 3, and then they wanted to go to further.
For Ukraine, yeah.
And the Russians said,
because Russia kind of could have like, yo, give us Poland back. But they probably like, whatever. You know what I mean? It's been whatever. Let them have that shit. But the Ukraine, probably like, hell no. Hell no. But they, you know, while the bear was asleep, they took them 3. You know what I'm saying? They took them 3. But while the bear was up, the bear woke and you trying to take the Ukraine. Right. You fucking crazy.
Right. Yeah, the Lord. He's going to hit?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to add on to that what you were saying, really it's the Most High. He's adding greed into Esau to actually do all of this. So what he's really going to do is, there's a quote, one bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. Because if you have 1 bird already, why are you going for the 2 in the bush? Once you go for the 2, you lost all 3. And that's ultimately what's going to happen in the end. Esau, he already has so much. You already have so much. Why are you looking at everything else? So now he's going to go in the bush, grab these 2 birds. He lost all 3 now. And that's ultimately Esau's ending. Right. He's going to lose everything in the end.
It's greed.
Greed.
Yeah. That shit. People don't like a greedy, selfish motherfucker. A stingy, greedy, selfish, self-centered bastard. That's fucking you westernized devils, man. And that's why other devils gonna turn on you and bomb this bitch, man.
I was gonna mention, just to add to that, that's I believe it's Habakkuk the 2nd chapter. It says his desires is as hell, and cannot keep it at home.
No, you can get it. Yeah. 2nd chapter. And that's why the Most High don't get it.
He heap all people to himself.
I see that. Exodus 15:3.
Yeah, you can read it right quick. Just chapter.
Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
And that's what the Lord is stirring up. War. He's stirring up all prophecies because it's time for the kingdom. But war is definitely need to be set up. It's been wars going on, but like little proxy wars, this and that. But this is like the main event what's going on now, leading up to actually the showdown, which is the nuclear fireworks going off all around the planet, and Yahweh Shah making his second return, delivering the elect, leading them into the kingdom and setting up a righteous rule for eternity.
Bro, also got one. You got this one? You should get this one first. Because hey, like the elder said, man, it's all what? It's all biblical prophecy. And you may know what the scripture means, but in order to truly understand it, you got to know the secular version of it. You got to know the details in it, so you can understand. Well, what does it mean? The Lord saying He's going to turn them back. Well, what were they like before? Because all I know them as is Russia. So now I got to go read up. Okay, well, what was Russia like? The Soviet Union. What was the history on that? And what energy were they in? What was the Cold War about? So that when you read these scriptures that refer to, like, for example, turning Gog and Magog back to the way they were, you know what that's going to be like, What you got? Go.
Yeah, just it's funny that the last Call of Duty that came out was Cold War, and it was they was going back into the history of the beef between Russia and U.S. And suddenly we're in a whole new thing now.
Right. Another
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That was the
They
latest
put it,
one.
yeah, the
There's
last
so
one that
many
came
of them, I
out
couldn't
last
even
year.
keep up with them no more.
Yeah, it's like
So it's called Cold War.
Cold War.
Yeah.
That was the last one from last year.
You got it.
What?
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed.
Nah, I'll go up a bit. Go like two, 3 verses. Start like verse 3.
All right. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time.
So that's what we're speaking on, the vision. Because, well, when we go to like Ezekiel or Jeremiah or Isaiah, these things that were written down are what? Visions. They were things that they saw, and the Lord said, write them down. And really, these prophets all got the same vision in different ways. Because those visions represent the same thing.
But at the end it shall speak and not lie.
So we in the end right now, and the vision is speaking. It's no longer just being written in the book, but now the vision is popping out of the pages. See, and that goes to show you when it says speak, it pretty much means that it's active. It's affecting you in real life. Right. Because when you go into Revelation, it says that what? That they should cause the image of the beast to speak, and to cause that as many as would not worship it should be put to death. So it's not that it's literally going to be talking, but what it means is that it's going to be manifest. Okay? So the vision is being made manifest before us. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you go into that word speak, it's there's powach, and it says one of the definitions, strong definitions, means to speak or utter.
To utter, exactly. And when I utter something, it becomes reality, so to speak. So to speak. Because if it's in my head, you don't know it. But once I say it, then it becomes, it comes out it manifests. You got it?
Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come.
And just like the other was going into, you had over the years various situations that may have involved Russia, Iran, and then we may look at it and say, damn, this thing's looking hot, the Lord might, I've seen videos of like the elders breaking down scriptures, and then, like 2013, 2014, and they're like, this thing is looking so hot. We might be out here in the next year, the next 2 years. And that was like 2014, 2015, and here we are. Because there's times when the prophecy starts to pick up, and then it slows down again. It's like a pump fake.
Right.
You might jump up, oh, no, he ain't going to shoot it. All right,
That's
let me
what
wait.
the wicked servant was saying, the Lord delayeth is coming. Because he's seen them pump fakes. And then you looking at, that's why you just got to stay glued, man. Because you looking at certain things like, I got time. Then you go back and play with that world and come to find out you ain't had time. Like one of those pump fake was like the actual pull-up jump shot.
Right.
And things just escalated from there. and you just got caught out there with no garment on. So that because the prophecies is like like a
EKG
chart,
machine?
like a scale, like the stock market. It's like ups and downs. You got hot points, cold points. The Lord will cool this one off, spark this one, bring this one up here. He's lining it up how he see fit as please. All we supposed to do is remain faithful unto death, or until the chariots come and deliver us. Of course you hasten the day, but the scriptures do say it shall come a time when you shall seek one of the days of the Son of Man and shall not find it, and shall not see it. Luke 17 and 22. So, at times, that's what happened with a lot of those one Westers with year 2000, Y2K. They thought the year was coming back. The Lord was on return on the year 2000. He didn't, and a lot of dudes fell out, because they put all their eggs in one basket on that. But hey, this the Lord's movie. He gonna have things, this, that, this and that. But we know we in that season, we in that time. We just gotta hold on. But the scripture also say our salvation is what nearer than we believe. So then, but then it's just that doubt demon. You like, but then what do you believe? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Is it that far, or this far, or that far, or that far? But then if you think it's way too far, that's when that complacency kicks in. And that's when you could get caught up out there.
And when you look at it, you may think the pump fakes are bad, but really they're good because they get you excited and they carry you on.
Right.
Because the Lord might say, look, not saying this is what it is now, but maybe like years ago, right? The Lord might say, I got 5 more years in there, but I'm going to make you think that it's this year.
Right.
So you're going to be hot because you saw something in the beginning of the year. You're like, yo, this year might be it. Let me go hard.
Right.
And then you get through a whole year like, damn, it wasn't it. And right when you start to feel like it wasn't it, he throw another pump fake and you like, another one. It might be this next year that's coming up. So you go hard for that next year and the Lord just keep getting you for like 5 years.
But you got to stay on the promise though. Because you like, man, the Lord going to do it. That's where the faith, because you can't be like, man. Because like Peter, come on, you asked me 3 times.
Right.
He got a little upset. Like, you keep asking somebody the same thing. So that's where faith comes in at. Because like, yo, the Lord did like 10 pump fakes. Like a person with an actual bachelor, you're like, yo, man, the shot clock violation about to hit you, man. But we gotta, what the Lord said, wait upon him. We gotta wait on the Lord. Like, all right, another pump fake, but these are actual events. It's not like these pump fakes are in vain. These are actual events that's happening where the Lord can actually say prophecy fulfilled. Every prophecy don't have to be turned up on the full notch for him to say prophecy fulfilled. The scriptures in the Bible where, and the Lord was born in Bethlehem. And then when the scripture said is that, that's when it was fulfilled. Oh, yeah, that's it. Right. But everything ain't got to be churned full notch. The Lord be like, all right, fulfill. Where you looking for this large scale event to happen, but where it was actual light. He ain't wanted to be on a large, certain things to be all large scale.
Actually, if I may make a point, sometimes it's those little things. I learned that football. Coach used to say, it's the little things that matter. So those little things actually set up the big things, the big events to happen. It's not the big event, because what led up to the big event? Those little small things that you didn't pay attention to that eventually led to that happening.
Right, like your car. You hear a little tick sound, tick. This shit's still driving all right. You probably like, oh, something like wrong with the little wheel bearing. It's a little loose. You get it checked out. They be like, oh, you good. Or you got lug nuts. You might be riding on 4. And you can ride on 4 for a while, but it's best to get that 5th one in. But your wheels start getting loose and you keep ignoring it, then little problems lead to a big problem. Then you need a whole front end work,
Right.
Like, one of the brothers going through this, but it happened to me too. It was with my tire. It was like $30 fucking. They like, yo, man, change your tire. My tires was bald as hell, but it's a tire. I had my truck at the time, and I was like, yo, change your tires. I got it, man. I get around to it. Driving past hella fucking tire shop. Man, it rained one day, because like when the tires is like no like dread on them, that shit is bad. Like you could be driving straight and that shit is just like it's no that shit like slippery. Or especially if it's raining. Man, I crashed my. It wasn't bad, but I was thinking, what one of the brothers was like, damn, that's the same shit that fucking happened to me like years ago and shit. Like I ain't. It was something small, like yo, change that. But like little things, like you said, lead up to larger events, and it's best to like nip shit in the bud. Even like with Eve, like when you first meet them and they met, it's best to check them with they bullshit at first, because if you wait later and try to do it, that shit ain't gonna work. She gonna act like you acting dude, you acting like you gotta like tell them and check shit at the door. So as your relationship develop, it could be like a little more smoother. Because she'll be like, oh nah, he always been like that. You know, like nah, he never liked me to cut him off. Like he never like wanted me to over talk him. He always told me that since I first met him. You know, so that's why it's good not to like simp out or to like pussyfoot too much to the point where you don't lay down your laws and constitution as a man, because later on it'll bite you in the ass with evil.
But what did the Lord do when he first established us as a nation coming out of Egypt? First thing he gave us was those laws, statutes, and commandments. You know, to establish, and then he made a covenant. On the covenant, he said, look, I'm gonna cut it to you straight. This is what you gotta do. This is what I'm gonna do. And if you go off, so the Lord has been dealing with us according to that ever since.
Right.
If you go off, this is what I'm gonna do. So it's not even brand new, you know?
That's right.
You got it.
Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith.
So that's dealing with Esau. Okay, the soul that is lifted up in Psalms 58:3, it tells you that the wicked are born speaking lies, they go astray, all right, when they come out the womb. And when you look up astray, it means to go from the path of righteousness, to do iniquity, right? So it says, what does it say?
Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
His soul is not upright in him, so he's not righteous, okay? Go ahead.
But the just shall live by his faith.
And your soul is like the mind of your spirit, you know, because you have your actual spirit, which is your life force, but you have the soul. When you look it up, it says it's like the desire, the seat of the desire. Okay, so the soul is what makes us all different, because we all have a spirit within us, which gives us the ability to be alive, you know. But then you have, why is this brother's spirit different than my spirit? Because he has a different soul. Okay, so Esau's soul, the typical generic soul of an Edomite, is to be wicked. Go ahead.
Verse 5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man.
And that wine ultimately goes into their philosophies and doctrines, westernization, Americanization. Okay, and so they push that and they cause transgressions to increase. It says what?
Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man.
He is a proud man, and I think that goes to a T.
Neither keep it at home.
Neither keep it at home. That's why you catch them in everywhere else but here. You know, their sign going on in Syria. Their sign go Ukraine. They're trying to put their foot and hands and nose and eyeballs in there. Anywhere that there's sign going on, they gotta be like the international police.
Right.
But if you say sign, well, why you stepping over here? Why are you doing this? Nigga, who made you boss?
Right.
That's the energy Russia got. And they said, look, we don't give a damn how many countries sanction us. We not stopping until we accomplish what we came here to do. That's Russia's attitude. And that's why in Isaiah 13, like Apostle Hart did a video on it, it says that they're not going to regard gold, nor silver, nor children. Once them Russians set their mind like, boom, this is what we're going to do, they are going to do it. They ain't going to stop.
They don't even care about international law.
Yeah, they're not.
Because, I mean, international law keep everybody playing fair. But like with the Cuban Missile Crisis, they like, man, fuck international law. If you don't take them fucking nukes out of Cuba, we're going to start World War III. That's what Kennedy said. He like, man, we don't give a fuck about no international law. Because when it's war and you like, you know, like if you're going to get revenge for somebody who murdered your whole family, and that person right there, you don't care if like police around. You like, damn, this is my chance to get him. I might never see him again. He might flee or run. This my only, so like 2 cops on that other corner, but you don't care. You like, well, if they get me or catch me afterwards, whatever, I want his ass. And that spirit of vengeance is just on you, man. And you're gonna come full throttle.
That's how the Lord gonna have these Russians come. They're gonna come full throttle. They're gonna let loose on them. See, because like you mentioned, this thing is gonna get out of hand. Because people move, but people have emotions. So you may try to stick to the plan, but the Lord will heighten up the spirit. In Daniel the 10th chapter, that's an example as to how the Lord and the angels work on the minds of these kings and these men. So the Lord's going to put it in Ezekiel 38. It says an evil thought is going to go into the mind of the Russians. And they're going to say, I'm going to go up to the land of unwalled villages. So at that point, you think, nah, there's a certain boundary. If we pull out our trump card, they're going to respect it. They're not going to respect it. The Lord's going to put a spirit in them to say, blast their ass to smithereens. And that's why Revelation 13 has the beast and the feet of the beast or the bear. Because they're going to be the end of the beast. They're going to bring that destruction to this place. Go on.
Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as death.
Yeah, because that's why he's known as the son of perdition. All his ways lead to death.
She got the leopard.
Yeah,
shit.
Because it said he was like a leopard.
Yup.
The beginning of him was
Yup.
a leopard,
Yup.
but his feet was like the feet of a bear.
God.
Because the top of that scripture was I just said it in my mind. I'm like, and the top was like a leopard.
And then you saw that.
And then she walked past, and I saw the leopard and shit.
Spirit of the Lord, you know? Yeah. Go on.
And also, I just want to make a quick point. When you go back to 4, it says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright. But how would you know that he's not upright? It explains him in verse 5, basically showing you that because he transgressed by wine, which is his philosophy, it shows you how...
Because means why. Anytime, like, you know, basic English, when you like, because you're giving an explanation of what was previously said.
Right, yeah, exactly.
the water. And it goes into he's a proud man, he don't keep at home. This is why his soul is not upright.
Right, exactly, yep.
And is as death and cannot be satisfied.
See, he cannot be satisfied. So that, and ultimately, these elites, that's how they are. Because when you hit a certain point, where, you know, money doesn't satisfy you anymore. You bought everything, you've done everything heart could wish. You got everything, then you want to, that's why they're going for world domination. You sit down and say, hold on, y'all got all this money, why don't you just chill out? Well, they done chill out. They've been chilling out. They're tired of chilling out. You know, now they want to go for the higher of the highest. Exactly.
And that's the glory of Yahweh Shai. Ain't nobody gonna dominate the whole world. And the earth's too big for like one person really to rule, like one mortal. Cause like with Rome, that's why you had outbreaks in certain parts that you really can't control because the kingdom stretched so far. So just like how many soldiers and shit you really gonna have before they get spread too thin to where your home base get collapsed because you're trying to protect too many areas.
I think that's what them old kings used to do, like the Persians. They would have somebody.
You try to set up garrisons and shit like that, but like you can't really like who's gonna really like everybody down. Only Yahweh, that's the glory of the Lord. Cause people gonna see the power he come back with and kneeling. Who's all gonna be in one cahoots together, like just down? Cause when you always have infighting, when you deal with numbers, like camps, right? You have a small camp, like 3 people, 4 people, right? And everything's fine, right? Now you add another 10, 15 brothers to that, you're gonna have little skirmishes. Oh, he said this, or this brother offended me when he said that, or he did this and that, or this is happening, or we gotta counsel this, or hey brother, you suspended. That all of that's gonna start happening. Because what you add in like numbers, you add in egos, you add in personalities. And that's the same thing with the world, just on a way larger scale. But when the whole world gonna be under the Lord's reign, because they gonna see the power he come back with and they gonna kneel and bow to it. every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess. But just a mortal devil like Esau having, nah, man, hell no. Even if he tried to accomplish it, it's gonna be like discrepancies. Like he ain't gonna be able to control what's happening here and there and there and there. Then people is, you could set up a garrison and motherfucker be straight insincere. I think that happened in the Maccabees. You set up a garrison and the dude. Oh no, it wasn't the Maccabees, but they did set up garrisons. But it happened with Reuben. It happened with Reuben and Esau when they made Reuben basically overseers over Jacob. And Esau come back and check on Reuben. It's in the book, The Black Indians in the History. Esau come back and check on Jake, and Jacob be on horses. Reuben would give them the choice of their women, and they'd be living in harmony together. And Esau would be mad, like, what the fuck you doing? I told you to oppress them and do this and that. But they were showing Judah love, man. So you can set up garrisons, but there's only so many people you actually can trust to actually do certain things the right way. Look at Alexander Kingdom. He tried to merge it all together as one, and he did at some point, but once he died, what? A bunch of infighting was happening. The Diadochi Wars. Those was like hella fucking wars, but then it came down to the last 4 generals? Possibly 5 antagonists, So, and that was a bunch of infighting, because it's always egos, it's people get thoughts in their head, people don't want to do this no more, people feel like, yo, you way over there, man, like, why we gotta take orders from you way over here, we setting up our own thing. That's the same thing what happened to gangbanging in the East Coast, because it's like, yo, we gotta listen to these California niggas, these niggas way the fuck over here. Why won't we still call ourselves the Bloods, but give ourselves our own different name? But we still a Blood. Fuck them, we doing us. And that's when you get rebelliousness and all of that. Look at John Gotti. He was like, man, fuck Paul Castellano. He clapped him and Sammy the Bull, and they took over. So Esau never do that, man. He don't have enough respect in the earth, and he don't have enough power and authority to actually pull the whole planet together like that. Never in a million years. People is too rebellious and stubborn, and you'll never do it. Only way he might try to do it is he depopularize and then try to do it. That's why he like, man, kill off 7.5 billion motherfuckers and then do it. Which is never going to happen, because that's the Lord's glory too, to depopulate the earth.
Good. That's right. The Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. So at the end of the day, like you said, that's Yahweh Shai's glory. And the Lord said, I shall not give my glory to another. But you got it. I was gonna say, it says that he cannot be satisfied. And this is a quote from the documentary Capitalist Conspiracy. And this is by G. Edward Griffin. And he said, after a man has far more money than he possibly can spend for pleasures, what is left to excite him? For those with a ruling class mentality, the answer is power. Raw power over other human beings. Money can buy such power only to a point. Beyond that, politics is the sport, and world politics is the ultimate game. So that's why these elites move the way they do, because money does not satisfy them anymore. Now they want power, raw power, control. Over they want to be omnipotent. They have a God complex. They think they're the base of the heathens, but they think they done ascended past humanity. Now they on God time, God level,
right,
through their technology. But they fail to realize that your technology came by way of the Most High. You think a car or an iPhone or something like that is something to the Lord? He looking at you like, nigga, if you seen, you seen a chariot? You ever thought about how a chariot functions? Does it get gas? Does it do any of that? But you see how it moves. Yeah, a steering wheel, it moves with the spirit. What you know about spiritual technology? You don't know shit about that. The Urim and the Thummim, that is a spiritual technology. To be able to.
Nothing but this, the modern day.
Exactly. But Esau, birth. How the scriptures talk about how bones grow in the womb. You can't figure out how bones grow in the womb. They can't figure that out. That's why they haven't. The closest they get is by what's that artificial something insemination where they take out the egg and the sperm and then they fertilize it and put it in another body, another woman to bear it. But they can't actually cause life. Yeah. The surrogate mother. Yeah. But they can't actually cause life. But now they're trying to. I believe they were saying they want to have pods, like pods where they actually have babies in that. So these devils, they're trying, but at the end of the day, like the elder said,
mimic the Most High.
Exactly. Like the elder said, they're subject to prophecy. Everybody is subject to prophecy because prophecy is the word of the Lord, and the Most High's word doesn't come back void. Got it?
What Apocalypse say? You could shoot your arrows to the arrows of the Lord, but you could never reach God. Y'all had to watch that shit again. That shit be hard.
But I was gonna mention to add to that as well. I recently watched that movie Ex Machina, and that's some freak shit, man. Basically, he made robots. The one inventor guy, who's the same guy who played Apocalypse. I just didn't recognize he had a beard on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The same guy?
Yeah, it's the same actor.
Shit.
Yeah. He basically made robots down there in the basement just to fuck them. I'm like,
and then one of them escaped at the end, right?
Yeah.
Ex Machina. Yo, you cannot tell. You cannot tell. When she was walking amongst the people, you can't tell.
Yeah.
You can't tell. And she was.
Some Terminator looking.
Yo, she looked just like a woman. She looked just like a woman. But her intelligence, man, is like an actual. I forgot it was a robot. Yeah, she spoke.
Just like
She
a real
moved
person.
everything like a regular woman. You can't tell the difference.
And then, when you go into Ex Machina, it's really Deus Ex Machina, which means the God in the machine.
Yup. That AI, man. Yo, that AI. I mean, that chick, man. If you see her, you can't tell. That shit made me think, damn, we might be walking around robots. Everything. Just like that lady running right there. Just like that. That could be a robot. You wouldn't know. That's what the movie had.
And he even created a private part where she could actually feel. So, because I'm a spoil I'm a spoil the movie just a little bit. But basically, the guy who played Apocalypse, his name is Oscar Isaac. He brought somebody to his private island to basically. He wanted to perfect the machine because he wanted to make the machine as close as human as he can to make it be able to deceive, to make it think how a person would move. So he brought basically a regular not a regular person, but a person who works in his building to basically test the machine, to see how far he could take the machine. And he even gave the machine, my bad for my language, but a mechanical pussy that can actually feel pleasure and everything. And he had a private machine that didn't talk, that didn't say nothing. I think it looked Moabite or Ammonite. Yeah. And he was fucking it there. I'm like,
and that shit make noise?
Well, they didn't go into all that. But he did say that he gave it that it could feel as well. And you could feel something from getting. I'm like,
but the dude, he started falling in love with her. The guy who came to work there, right?
I'm like, he fell in love.
He
started simping for a robot.
Because that's how realistic she was.
He's like, yo, you just keeping a trap. Nigga, I'm getting aggravated. Like, you going crazy for a robot?
Yep. And then somebody died. I forgot how it went, but niggas died.
Self-deception has no bounds.
And she got out of all of them. She got out. I think they both died or something. But she escaped. She put on clothes and everything. She walked right in, and that was it. You ain't never catching her. You ain't never catching her. She walking around. She walking around. No, that's how realistic.
That bitch working and everything.
Yeah, they'll make you think that you walking around robot. I'm telling you, man, that movie, man. I had to think.
I gotta watch that shit.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. What's that on Netflix?
No, it was on the Fire Stick.
Yeah, I got the hack Fire Stick, so I'll punch it in.
Yeah, Ex Machina. Man, shit. But where we at? Rebecca, Greg. Yeah. Let's wrap it up on that.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, that movie will have you on some shit after that. You be looking at everybody twice.
Yeah. to probably go home like that. Get me a motherfucking soft drink or something and watch that joint.
Yeah.
Continue, it says, who enlarges his desire is hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied.
That's right.
But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people.
And you know ultimately how he's gonna be satisfied? When we got I'm being facetious here, but when we got him working the damn, and you know what? You notice the days nowadays move faster. But the same way the Lord can speed up the days, he can slow down the days.
Yeah.
You know?
Even back in the day, it's like summertime was summer.
Yeah.
It was like the days just seemed longer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like you lose track of the days. What number it is? Is this the 15th?
Yeah.
This Tuesday, you be fumbling over the days.
Mm-hmm. Moving so fast. You know, but in the kingdom, this is gonna be nice, long, hard, painful, slow days for you. And you're gonna always have work to do. No paid time off, no calling out, ain't none of that shit. You're gonna be work. And you know what? We're gonna speed up the Sabbath for you. Cause the day could be 24 hours, but it's about how you perceive it.
Right.
You know,
when they say a New York minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's still a minute, but it's like so much going on. It's fast.
Mm-hmm.
You'll think it's faster than the actual minute.
Yep. Like they say, time flies when you're having fun. But then if you're like in a boring ass class or a lecture, time feels like it's moving so slow. But it's still the same time.
Right.
So what we can do is really alter your perception of time. So during the daytime, it feels like a long ass time, and the Sabbath goes like that for your ass. Next thing you know, the second the sun end, the Sabbath and the sun go down, they go where you at. We knocking on your door.
But Joshua, when he asked the Most High to hold the sun for a bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we trust me. The scripture said what? He cannot be satisfied. You're gonna have a lot to be satisfied with. Don't worry. You got it.
And say it heaped unto itself all people.
Mm-hmm.
And I show you this devil's a hypocrite because he want everybody to go under his policies.
Nope.
But at the same time, and everybody to come here, but then complain about immigration.
Right.
Like you got Little Italy, you got Little Haiti, Little Havana, you got Chinatown, you got all of these different. Every nation on earth, they got a little section of Babylon cut out for them. Little India, I think it's up in Queens somewhere. I don't think they call it little. It's just hella Hindus and Elamites out there, like thousands of these motherfuckers. It's like they cut out their own section of the neighborhood and gave that to them. Because Esau liked to heap unto himself all people. But on the back and on the flip end, he'd complain about immigration.
Yeah, in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, it tells you how they shall mingle themselves among the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another. So that's why, like the elder was saying, you have like pockets of various different nations and communities in here, but yet we're not mingling with each other.
Right.
You know, if you go to the hood, you see Jake there, but you go to Chinatown, you see Moab there, but you ain't gonna see them like this.
No.
You know, America's a melting pot, but it's divided in each section anyway. You know,
even in the hoods in Brooklyn, you had one building, and I'd be like, yo, the hood is really a state of mind. Because for a while, I thought like the hood was a section of areas. Like these 20 blocks is the hood, you know. But when in Brooklyn, like on Bushwick Ave, you got new buildings going up. And you would have this new building, lofts, nice houses, right? Like fucking 2 blocks down, like, or right across the street, the projects, the shithole, right? So I'm like, yo, this Bushwick, now for years people knew Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, all of that's the hood. But then now when it come like, yo, this building is laid out as families, Edomites living their lives and working, they having fun. But right across the street is poverty and hell. So that's why you know like the hood is really like a frame of mind that they lock Jake in.
Yeah.
Because right across the street is heaven, so-called heaven, where people function and live normal lives with clean buildings and shit. But right over here is fucking living hell. And people, these heathens and Edomites, they walk out of these buildings and shit like the shit over there don't exist, like they don't see it. Like they just walk.
Yep.
You're like, damn, you don't see the fucking RIP sign nigga got shot there. To them, it's just, and they just know like, it's the way that they block it out to where it's not like real.
I was gonna make a quick testimony. That's like literally my block where I live. This is a strip, and all you gotta do is walk to the end of the block and literally turn the corner, and it's Edomite section right there. Not Go right there. Like literally, like let's say this is my block. See that thing right there? Just turn the corner, you and eat in my central.
You live close to the corner. You live like 50 feet, 50 yards from the corner.
So just turn the corner, and it's just nice buildings, nice everything. But us, we got trash all over the place, but they blocks is clean.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
And before that was towns. Like, no, the town over there is like that. This town is fucked up. Or this northern section of the town is fucked up. Nah, now it's like right next door type shit.
Yeah.
That's how I know, like, really the hood is like a state of mind. It's not really like a perimeter.
Yeah. Keep going with that.
Verse 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him?
So eventually that's what's going to happen. The deception is going to fail, and everybody's going to stop and turn around and say, "Yo, hold on 1 second. Why are we? Nah. You got to take this whole out." Go on.
And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And everything they take other shit. The land that they own, they came and took it from Gad and the Reuben and the rest of the northern tribes. You know, the gold and all these things. That's not theirs.
The inventions.
The inventions. You know, they take it. They're. Read that again. What does it say?
And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his.
Go ahead.
How long? And to him that laded himself with thick clay.
And to him that laded himself with thick clay. Because when you take something that's not yours, for example, money, you become in debt. And if you keep increasing in that, you're going to keep on getting more and more in debt. And that word, I believe in the Hebrew, is ibatyat, if I'm not mistaken. You can look it up, double check, for clay, which means debt. So when it says he laid himself with thick clay, that's talking about the debt, okay? Because this country, America's not rich. They're not rich. They're in debt.
You said ibatyat?
How is it? Ibatyat. Yeah, ibatyat.
Like, it just looked rich on the outside, like the whore.
Exactly.
You know, on the outside, you know, with credit and shit like that. Just case in point, everything's an illusion, right? Like, people in the club, right? People in the club, they don't have fucking, they're not having a, like, the club scene is the perfect scene to explain. You go to the club scene, these people, it look like they're having a good time. They got fucking rental cars. A motherfucker might rent an M6, right? And these bitches will go to fucking Macy's or these high-end stores and rent a dress. They'll rent shoes and shit like that. And they'll go to the club styling, popping bottles, buying tables. They be like, damn. And it looks like an illusion of this America on the whole, but I'm using a club scene. You be like, damn, these people in here is doing all right for themselves. Did you see the parking lot?
Right.
Like, it's like high-end cars and shit. These people is doing well off. But really, when all of that shit is over with, the makeup come on, you're struggling to pay rent. Right. You in fucking debt. You got student loan debt. Your mother got cancer. Your father and your mother just got divorced. Your little sister had an abortion. Your other sister had the baby, but she died once she had it. Your life is just in a fucking turmoil. Your fucking baby father bought you an STD back, but then you come to the club and you put all of that shit on. And you put like a front on, hey guys, yeah, electric sliding and shit. But really, on the back end of the scene, you catching pure fucking hell, man. And that's America. It looks glamorous and shit like that and all of that. But behind the scenes, it's like the whore. She look good, but once you lift up that dress, it's nothing but fucking stink. It smells. The bitch ain't washed up in days. Smell like fucking onions. But she looked like, she looked beautiful on the outside appearance.
Right.
You know how she's fitted in them tight jeans, but she got dents and fucking cottage cheese and, you know, she got fucking push-up bra straps. Her nipples is pointing south. Like, it's done. And you like, oh shit, I've been bamboozled.
Oh, shit. And you don't forget that. You don't forget that, especially with a woman. You don't forget that, man. You ain't going back there. It's like you see a pretty ass chick, and you go to talk to her, and her breath just give you that Mike Tyson shit. You're not gonna go back. It doesn't matter how pretty she is. You gonna remember that.
What movie was that? I think
Yo,
it
think
was
twice next time.
Was it Boomerang? Nah, that was with her feet though. But
No,
Eddie
it was
Murphy, that
Don't Drinking Juice While Being a Menace in the Hood. It was
Oh
the
yeah,
parody.
Dashiki, the chick name. She had all the kids and shit. Was that her? With Marlon Wayans in.
Yeah, that was the movie. Nah, it was the other part when he pushed up on the thick Judite-looking woman, and she looked all pretty and everything. She had big teeth, fat. But then I think she said her name was Cassandra. And it's like, hey, baby, what's your name? She's like, Cassandra.
Oh shit.
And the breath came out. She's like, he's like, all right, so where you from? Oh, I'm not from around. She far. She just like, and let it out. He's like, she was like, some people feel intimidated by me. They don't feel like talking to me. And he's like, yeah, I can see why. And then he just left her.
He ain't coming back there. No, he'd rather take a chick that's half eye, but she got good hygiene. Cause you remember that. Especially if it's a woman. Especially if it's a woman.
Yeah, I mean, well, see, in the kingdom, we're going to have Dom's beautiful women, and they're going to be in order. But on this side, you date down. Both. If you don't, when the last time you see a beautiful ass woman that's married? You don't see it. Like a beautiful fine. I've been married 40 years or 20 years. You don't see it. If you want to, it's sad. The more prettier a woman is, the more delusional she is. Mm-hmm. And the more she go down on that scale, like a 6 or 5 or 7, the more closer to reality they be.
Right.
Like, date an ugly chick, a butt ugly chick. You can feed her truth.
Yeah.
She probably get butt hurt at some of it, but she'll be receptive to a lot of it. So they say if you want a faithful woman, you gotta date down as far as looks. And if a woman want a faithful man, she gotta date down. Meaning like, because the more a dude got his resources and shit together, the more less likely he's gonna just deal with you. But if you're just dealing with a guy that need a place to stay, he don't really got that much money, and he's more like dependent on you to help pay this or that, he's more like, he can still so-called cheat, but he's more likely to be faithful towards you than a guy that's more higher up with his resources. But that's how it is in Babylon. Like, if you want a chick you could tell the truth to or this and that, but a dime or a 9-piece or an 8, they gonna be delusional as hell. The truth gonna like ricochet right off of their fucking head. But a 4 or a 3 or an adjustable 6 or 5, they might be a little more receptive towards reality.
You can liken that to the truth as well. The Lord, picks out certain individuals. He don't go for the high and mighty, the rich, because they're gonna be like, nah, fuck that, I want this money and all that. But the more lowly person, he's gonna be meek and humble.
Right, damn, that's beautiful comparison.
Said not many noble are called.
Yeah.
So I ain't saying, men are visual creatures. I ain't saying get a butt ugly chick, because you do want her to look like something, but you could get an adjustable 6. That means like she look like a 6 regular, but if she get just and dolled up, she could be like a possible 8.5, 8 or something like that.
Yeah, because I remember the comedian Patrice O'Neal mentioned that, you as a man, you build her up, you bring her up to something, over time, you work with her, just like what the Lord's doing with us, and then eventually you're going to be like, damn, she looking real good now.
I was just thinking
Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, it's like the likeness effect. She starts to look good over time. Because your brain will start to, put away the things that are not good in her and highlight the things that are good in her, and soon that's all you see.
And I call it X-ray vision. And that's what men need to develop, because they'll look at a plain Jane and be like, and they'll look at like a person that's dressed promiscuous, and because that's really your flesh, you need to possibly look through, like have your X-ray vision on, to, like be like, oh, that's, I ain't saying a plain Jane can't be a demon, but I'm just saying you gotta have like your X-ray vision on, walk by faith kind of and not by sight, instead of just looking at the outward appearance, but not look at like the inward, like, even like on like a dating site, right? See if I was a fuck with a dating site, how I know which woman is decent? The ones that's covered up. all the ones that's covered up is decent. Like all of their pictures be like it'll be no cleavage showing. They'd be like in like regular, and they could look like presentable, like nice still, but they not like showing off their bodies. And those are the ones I probably like, yo, what's up? You know, and they be a little more down to earth. But all the ones that's like showing, like that's going like this and like that, you know, that's straight red flags. But the ones that's kind of like covered up, you know, they probably showing the upper portrait only, or they got like a long sleeve on. Because you got to think, like, why the fuck would a woman take a picture with a long sleeve shirt on and a fucking skull hat? Why she ain't parading her beauty? And that shows that you secure. Because it's a saying, the deeper, the more makeup a woman has, the deeper her insecurities. You know, so she got fake titties, fake eyes, fake this, fake that, fake right. This. That bitch gonna give you a problem, straight red flag. You know. So, but hey, you can easily learn about male and female relationship. All you gotta do is look at our relationship with the Lord, because we His woman. You know, and He punished us, the men of the nation, to show us how He felt as far as dealing with us. And there's a lot of comparisons between the two. So with that, you know, brother's about to close out. Lord willing, y'all got something else to say?
No.
Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. Until the next go around, Shalom.
Well, first I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makak, Next time, Shalom.